Nice ass.
Well, I mean, he's a farmer. What do you expect?
This is what we do in Nebraska?
I don't know that this is in Nebraska, but I like to think it is. It's like a big old thing of shredded wheat. It's like the little shredded wheat guys they have in the commercials. The cereal with the arms and legs.
Oh, my God. I want to pour some sugar on him.
Yeah. Pour some sugar on
Oh,
me.
yeah. Let's not. Awesome. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 34 with the Dog and Chicken Show.
Yes.
Tony, how's your week been, man?
Well, it's been a long one. We are actually pretty well behind on recording this episode. Usually we've got this knocked out a few days ago, but it's already Thursday, and we usually drop these on Friday, so good luck with that quick turnaround.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of like the quick turnaround because some of our topics are at least topical still because so much shit happens between normally folks we record on like Saturday or Sunday, and then I go to work all week, and then at the end of the week I try to patch all this shit together, and I'm like, I have to cut out a bunch of stuff that's like, well, that isn't relevant anymore. Like, so at least most of this will be relevant, and it makes the episodes longer but more entertaining, I think.
Yeah, but it has been a long-ass week. A lot of shit's happened. We are at the end of the college football season, and we are going to start tonight off with that.
Oh, God. Do we have to?
Unfortunately, we do.
I'm like, all those people that believe in Nostradamus? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and they're all proven to be false because, like, Nostradamus just says fucking random shit, and people are like, oh, yeah, he meant this. Like, I kind of feel like Nostradamus because, like, I feel like most of my shit's not true. Like, I don't think it worked out so well for me.
Well, that's kind of the nature of the beast when we're talking college football bowl picks, and that is essentially what happened. I'm going to run through this real quick. So I did win as far as our head-to-head goes.
Oh, we were competing?
We were. Of course we were competing.
Fuck.
Hey, you made a big... Oh, yeah. You fucking blathered on about how you're going to smoke me and kick my ass. Your picks were going to be perfect. Yeah, that went out the door on like
just like Donald Trump's.
But...
They were perfect.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It happened exactly.
Then.
Yeah, well. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. I keep interrupting you. I'm a dick.
Well, we knew that. Some simple notes here on the Bulls. I just had a few. Some of our more.
Just a few? You sent me a list of everything I got wrong. Just a few?
No, not everything. Dude, if it was everything you got wrong, it would have been half the games. Almost. That's not a joke. So SMU lost to FAU. Turns out no Lane Kiffin, no problem on that one. We're both stupid because we thought Lane Kiffin leaving, FAU is screwed, and SMU is on a tear. Well, so much for that. We're both dumb. We both had Washington to lose to Boise State. Chris Peterson retires with a win over Boise State at Washington. We're both stupid again. I couldn't believe that.
I didn't watch that game. I kind of wish I would have. I still think Boise State's probably the better team, though. Like, I watched Washington play a couple games throughout the year, and I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, that's just it. That's another reason I had UW. But big game. Boise State always steps up big in a bowl game. This time it was Washington. Go figure. You had Hawaii, and I had BYU. It was kind of a 50-50 for us, and that one had a really messed up ending. Honestly,
it was a perfect ending. It was a perfect ending, and there was perfect play calls throughout that whole game.
Yeah, perfect refereeing in this game for chicken, not for me.
I called up Putin and said, "Make sure Hawaii wins,"
and they did. even though they really didn't. So enjoy your technicality
I'll
point.
take it. I'll take it.
Well, it's all right, because on the next one, you had Miami because you thought they were
Oh,
going to kick ass against La Tech.
God.
I made the point that Miami kind of shits the bed when it comes to bowl games, and guess what they did? They laid a big old fucking goose egg in this one. Couldn't score a single point against Louisiana Tech.
I did watch
Thank
that
you.
one. That was horrible. I
Thank
shut it
you.
off at halftime. I was just like, oh my God, this is bad. This is fucking bad.
That's all right. We both looked really stupid on the next one because we both ranted and raved about how great USC was going to be against Iowa and how great their passing game was going to be. Well, Iowa shit stomped USC pretty embarrassingly. Like, they didn't even look remotely good in this one.
So being up here in the corner of South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska, like we got a little melting pot over here, especially with like the people I work with. And so, I'm seeing Iowa fans, I'm seeing Notre Dame fans, and I'm like giving the Iowa fans shit. I'm like, you got to go against USC. They're like, we got this. I'm like, oh yeah, you ain't got shit. They're too fast for you. This ain't gonna happen. Oh God, I hate being wrong to coworkers. Like, me and you can be wrong to each other. God damn, not coworkers. It's just, it's gross.
Oh, even worse when they're an Iowa fan. It makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's why.
Yeah.
I can be wrong to a Notre Dame fan. Maybe have some respect for him. But Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Iowa
one
fan.
thing. But Iowa, ugh, yuck. So we both had Ohio State. Technically,
on paper, they
were the better team.
They kicked ass that whole game, except for the points.
Yeah, they. Well, and let's face it, Clemson got bailed out by the refs because of the dropped catch, not a fumble. Even though he caught the ball, took a couple steps, then fumbled. Turns out that's an incompletion. I'm using air quotes, those of you on audio. So it was bullshit. And then the end, of course, Ohio State throws their only pick of the fucking year. I'm being sarcastic, but it felt like it.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Perfect. A perfect loss.
Then another one, the K-State game. At least this one went our way. We both had Navy. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. Sorry, Brett DeLay called that shit. Knew that was going to happen.
Yes, we did. Field goal for the win for Navy. Then the other side of it, Utah let us both down. Texas destroyed Utah. We thought the pass D on the Longhorns.
Oh, God.
Oh, well, no.
I was like, what the fuck just happened?
They looked amazing against Utah. I don't know what happened. Utah did not get up for that one.
Yeah, they shit the bed for sure.
We had both had Auburn to beat Minnesota comfortably.
Like, did anybody in the world think Minnesota was going to kick the holy hell out of them like that?
No.
They looked like a Big Ten team all of a sudden. Like all year long, you're like, oh, Minnesota just getting lucky every now and then, squeaking by with some.
Well, they had that game against Penn State where I'm like, surely this is just Penn State
having a bad
really
week.
Bad day.
Yeah,
but no, this was the same team that showed up for that game and stomped Penn State. Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and
Minnesota's legit.
They turns out were more legitimate than I thought they would ever be this season. I'll say it again. I don't think they can sustain it, but this year was definitely their best year in ages. So kudos to them. The Rose Bowl, Wisconsin and Oregon. I had Oregon. You had Whiskey. I got the win here, but damn, that was a game. That was probably really the most fun I had watching all the bowl games. That was a freaking hell of a game. I'm really glad that one panned out as well as it did, because sometimes it could go either way. I'm like, it depends which team we get out of Oregon. Luckily, we got a good Oregon team on that one, and that was a fun game. And then last but not least here, Baylor, surprisingly, we both thought was going to be good. They struggled against Georgia. Dogs came out motivated. Did a fine job. Got the win. We were both stupid.
Yep.
Grand total. Chicken with a 21-19 record.
Hey, it's better than 500.
Woo-hoo!
I'll take it.
By a game.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you know what? You're lucky that fucking Hawaii game went the way it did, or it would have been 500.
Yeah.
I had a record of 27-13. I had a bad stretch there towards the end, but other than that, I was pretty much on point. Feel pretty good about that. I'll take it. So that pretty much just leaves us with the national championship game. I'm just gonna pull up some of the highlights here we can watch.
I thought it was a good start. The game started off competitive. It really did. And I thought Clemson was really going to give them a run. But it just didn't happen for them. I don't know if they were gassing out or what the problem was, but it just didn't happen for them. The depth.
Well,
I know when they got the what's his name got called for targeting, like that hurt their defense.
Yes. This play right here specifically, right at the beginning where I thought for sure LSU was going to storm right down the field. That huge pass Burrow throws. I think it got flagged. It got overturned. Yep, flagged here, and it got brought back. That set the tone for the first quarter. The field position was shit for LSU that entire first quarter, most of the first half. They couldn't get past the 50. They couldn't do much. And then it finally picked up here. Massive, 80-yard touchdown pass. LSU finally gets on the board, 7-7. It kind of started coming together there, but they were pretty much neck and neck from there up until the half.
Yeah. After halftime, they come out and you heard them going in. I can't remember if it was the pre-half or post-half when they're coming back out, but what's the LSU coach's name?
Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, he comes out of the locker room and he's like, "Yeah, we know they did that first half. We got it. We made our adjustments. We got this. We know exactly what they're trying to do. They had a good game plan, but we got it from here." I'm like, "Okay, do you?" And then, fuck yeah, they did. They just shut him down.
Yeah, when you wouldn't think a guy that sounds like that knows what the fuck he's talking about, but no, he's been sought after by a lot of schools, and he's been a coordinator at a lot of places. He finally got a head coaching job at LSU, and it came together, and it really came together big this year. But yeah, that second half, they did exactly what we thought they were going to do. They were going to adjust what they needed to adjust, because you knew Clemson was going to do some stuff early, and they did. You knew they'd get on the board, and they did. But as soon as that got figured out, it was game over. They could do nothing. Nothing. They couldn't get down the field, and anytime they did get down the field, LSU had an answer for it. It was a completely different game in the second half. LSU looked like the team they looked like all season. And unfortunately for Clemson, they played like the team we saw all season. Unfortunately for them, it was against a team with much higher caliber.
Oh, yeah.
So right here, it's 25-28. There, LSU goes up 35-25. Got 5 minutes left of the third there. That's a 10-point lead. I don't think they didn't give up anything after that, did they?
I don't think so.
No, I think that was it. Once they went up to 10 points, it was double digits the rest of the way, baby. LSU rolled after that.
Yep.
And they made it look effortless. Touchdown after touchdown from one side of the field to the other. Pass. Holy shit, Burrow. God.
I do have to remind you, Tony, as shitty as my picks were this year, you did say at the beginning of the season that Ed Orgeron, if he didn't make something happen, he was going to get fired. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because LSU is that team kind of like Auburn. They get very antsy because they think they should be in the conversation, every year, every other year. And by all means, that might be true. But because they've been there before, right? So they expect to be there all the time. But they have been so inconsistent throughout the years, even with Les Miles for how many years?
Yeah, for sure.
After he won the one championship in 2007, they just kind of plodded along after that. That's the reason he got let go. I didn't know if Ed Orgeron was going to pan out here. And yeah, I did say that. It came together in a big way. They got, an angel from above in Joe Burrow, because there wasn't a better quarterback in the country this year. And obviously, in a landslide Heisman win,
Well, and
15-0.
didn't he break the NCAA record for most
Yeah.
passing touchdowns in a season in
There
that
you have
game?
it.
And then he added 2 more to it, I think, by the end of the game. Oh, yeah,
That pretty much tells you all you need to know.
I think both those quarterbacks, though, even on Clemson's side, like that kid's a sophomore. Like he won as a freshman. He won the national championship. Yeah, he won the national championship as a freshman. Yeah. Gets back into the big game as a sophomore. Gets a humbling loss, but like that kid, oh my God, we probably just seen 2 of the best future NFL quarterbacks going head to head.
Yeah. Joe Burrow, no doubt. I feel like he's got to be draft pick 1 or 2, right?
Right. So what's that? That takes him to the Bengals?
I believe the Bengals, yeah, unless they do something crazy and trade it off. But yeah,
poor Joe Burrow.
You know what? He'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah, if he's going to end up with millions of dollars,
numbers.
Yeah, he'll end up with millions of dollars. I don't think
hard to feel sorry for that.
Yeah. Poor Joe
15-0. 15-0 national champions, and man, from a numbers standpoint, it's kind of hard to argue that LSU wasn't the most dominant national championship of the 2010s from a sheer numbers standpoint.
They're definitely up there of top 10 all time seasons. Like, and there's talks that they compete for top 5 or even number 1 spot of the best college football team in NCAA history, which I know Husker fans are like, fuck you, we had the best ones. But hey, like, you have to admire what they did and what they pulled off. Like they played some damn good teams and some ranked teams, and they kicked some ass this year. You can't deny it.
They played an amazing schedule. They went 15-0, and they played sound football in all 3 phases of the game.
And they shut down Alabama,
impressive.
So we don't have to fucking talk about Alabama. So I'm like, yeah, let them be in the conversation. I'm good with it.
So, but what does that mean for them next year? I don't think they're in the conversation next year, though.
No.
How do you replace Joe Burrow?
Yeah, that's the big, and that's a big issue across college football right now, because Ohio State's
not
looking
for Clemson.
Not for Clemson. They're in there for a while, but Oklahoma needs
not
a new
only is he a junior next year, but they have signed more 5-star athletes, I think, than like Alabama and Michigan combined. I think was the stat somebody pulled up.
That's
they
crazy.
have some ridiculous number of talent coming in. They're your new dynasty. Like, move over Alabama. It's Clemson. Clemson has kind of taken the reins.
I'm super excited for a new era of somebody else to take over, because the
14-1 Clemson of 2019, that was their hiccup. They're going to be right back in it next year.
Yeah, and I'm okay with a little change into the guard right now, because I think we need something like we're seeing the Patriots are getting dissected and everybody's moving on. We're seeing Alabama had their worst season in how many years? Like, and it's not just their win-loss record.
2008, right?
This was not the best looking. Like, it's probably the worst looking Alabama team we've seen in a long time.
What was it? What year was it Bama won the SEC over Florida after losing to Florida the year before? I want to say it was it 2009? I believe, 2009, right? Yeah, the year what should have beat Texas, and then Texas went and shit the bed against Alabama. Yeah, 2009. So Alabama's basically been on top for 10 years.
Yep.
This is good. This is fine. We need a little bit of changing the guard, if you will, because you get so burnout. Like, we're so used to Alabama, but people are already getting burnout on Clemson. Like, they're already sick of it. So people are already cheering for a new team to team up and knock them off. So it's good to have a little bit of difference every year in the top there, but Clemson's going nowhere.
Yeah. I'll root for Clemson as long as it means Alabama doesn't make it anywhere, and they always got to. I know they're a different conference, but it's just there's always a little hiccup down south. They're like, well, will they get past each other? And like, there's always that conversation. If it ever comes to the playoffs, like typically they end up playing each other in the playoffs. But
well, Clemson's that team. People always said, why don't they should really shift over to the SEC. Why are they in the ACC? And it's true.
Why is the ACC a thing? Like Florida is done. Like you look through the ACC. Like, sorry, fans of the ACC, but God, like it's just really lost its allure.
If you take,
it's the new Big 12. It's the new Big 12.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares anymore.
If you take out Miami, you take out Florida State, and you take out like Vatech, that's really about it for name brand football. The rest are all once in a while to have a good year. That's about it. And even Miami, Florida State, and Vatech aren't having like kick-ass years.
Yeah, it's like they haven't been good in
other than Clemson.
They haven't been good in 20, 30 years. So like, who cares?
Yeah. I'd be fine seeing the SEC absorb like half the ACC, and we could get down to 4 super conferences. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I think it needs to happen. Break up the ACC, break up the Big 12. Let's just
pretty much. That Big 12 or the ACC, one's got to go.
I think both of them need to go. They're both jokes.
Man, vicious tonight.
I'm tired of hearing people fucking talk about the Big 12 like it's fucking something worth a shit. It's garbage.
No, it's
if it wasn't for Oklahoma, that thing wouldn't be fucking worth a damn.
Yeah, pretty much.
Texas can't save them anymore. Texas fucking dug their own goddamn grave, and fucking some got out and some fell in.
I think Texas will have a good year next year. That's my way too.
Oh yeah, and then they'll fucking fall back down. They're not going to be consistent.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like when Mac Brown first got there, like they were doing really well, but like after we jumped ship, I think there was a lot of heat, a lot of bad press with Texas.
Oh yeah,
and yeah.
Well, everybody but
people
Texas
saw the forest
saw
through the trees. Yeah, people saw the forest through the trees, and they're like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, no, everybody understood except Texas fans who blamed us. And still do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even Husker fans blame us for leaving and go, we should be still in the we should be in the Big 12 still, so we can win games. Oh, you want to play shitty teams just so you can get a W?
Yeah.
That sounds real fucking awesome. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go play Iowa State every year. Sounds fun. Sounds real goddamn fun. That was the first Husker game I ever went to, by the way. Iowa State come to Lincoln. We stomped them 73-10. We left in the third quarter.
Oof.
That was gross.
Oof.
Real quick, while we're still on that, well, we won't keep going with the Big 12 talk. With the end of the season, with the exception of the Hawkeyes come out ending the season, depending on what poll you look at, either 15th or 18th. So say they're 15th. The last 5 games of the 2020 season for the Huskers have number 3 Ohio State, number 5 Penn State, number 15 Iowa Hawkeyes, number 14 Wisconsin Badgers, and then end the season with number 10 Minnesota Golden Gophers. Now, we've touched on this, that our first half of the year is not bad. We can, if we can get out of the first half of the year unscathed with minimal injuries, we have a chance in some of these games. You think, how beat up will Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota be come the end of the year? If we come into that not banged up, not full of injuries, what kind of chances do you give Nebraska with what we've seen this year, what improvements we expect next year, our recruiting class that we had? We got a lot of freshmen playing this year. Like, there was a lot of good stuff to build on. I think there's a chance to have a 6, 7, maybe 8-win season. There's a chance. But what are your chances? What do you give the chances of us going 9 or 10?
Slim to none. I'll be honest. I think right now, as it sits, unless we have an amazing spring and an amazing fall camp, 7-5, 8-4 is pretty much our ceiling, and that's saying a lot considering the schedule that you just described. We have a gauntlet to get through on the back half of the season. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun to watch in most cases. If we can kind of scrape together a win or two and look good in the other losses, we have to be happy with that. Our goal has to be 7 wins in 2020, because look at that schedule and look at the fact that we haven't been to a bowl game since Mike Riley's second year. It's 7 wins. 6 wins, yeah, sure, fine. That gets you to a bowl game. But you need a winning record. 7-5 is a winning record. And we went over that schedule once or twice, and I kind of made my picks, and then I looked at
yeah, you were like 9 or 10 wins on your original pick.
I was 9-3, and I'm like, well, they're not going to go 9-3 though. I'm like, okay. So I looked at it again, and yeah, so I don't know which ones I want to pick for sure, but 7-5 is my pick right now. I don't, we have no shot at the West yet. Iowa looks like they've kind of caught up to Wisconsin as far as that goes, and Minnesota's right in the thick of it. So the West is pretty much prime for anybody to step up and have a big year. The East, it's Ohio State. We saw that this year. I still don't think they're going to be nearly as good next year as they were this year, but Michigan's proven that they can't meet the expectations put in front of them. Penn State isn't at that level we thought maybe that they were early in this year. Michigan State, probably not going to bounce back quite yet. So, yeah, it's Ohio State.
Yeah.
But the West is wide open. Not for us.
Yeah, I agree. Not for us. Outside of that, college football quarterbacks being replaced. Like we already talked to
Adrian Martinez.
LSU it will be in search of a new QB, see who they got lined up. There's, of course, like you mentioned, the Huskers will be competing. We got 3 potential good quarterbacks, so we'll see who wins that battle coming out, and see what gets announced after the spring game and everything in April. And then as we head to the preseason, of course, but then you look at some of the teams we're up against. Ohio State's star running back is gone. I think their quarterback was a senior this year. I might be wrong on that, but so they got a couple people to replace. I'm pretty sure Wisconsin's quarterback is gone. And Minnesota, was he a junior or senior? Like, they had a pretty decent quarterback, but I have a feeling he's
junior.
I thought. What, I don't know. I swore I read an article that this was his last season. Maybe he's going to join the draft. I don't know. But there's
if he was a junior, I doubt he'd be leaving for the draft. I mean,
why wouldn't you ride that gravy train while you can, man? You think Minnesota's going to have 2 golden years like that in a row?
Well, that's just it. They came within a hair of winning their division. Why
golden
not?
Gophers, they were more like the silver Gophers. Like, let's be real, it wasn't a dominant team by any means. But do we think they'll have a repeat? If I was a quarterback as a junior and I had a good year like that, I'd be like, hey, show me the money. Like, if I could get the hell out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I would risk another year.
That's just it, though. Like that. What's his draft stock look like? Because if that's what it comes down to, if his draft stock ain't shit, yeah, you're coming back. You're coming.
Oh,
back.
Shit! Even if you end up on a goddamn practice squad, fuck it. You're gonna make bank, dude. You can pay off all your debt right there. 1 year on practice squad, you're done.
Well, we're both fucking stupid, so
yeah.
He's gonna be a junior.
Oh wow! So Minnesota.
Yeah, so he'll be back.
He'll be back. Wow.
That's why I thought he was a junior, but no, he's going to be a junior.
So yeah, I'm just interested to see how next year plays out and what kind of new names pop up. There is a
Me
lot of
too.
there is a lot of big names being gone and moving on. Well, we'll just see how it shakes out. A lot of returners, but a lot of people jumping ship, jumping to NFL. We'll see how the draft goes. How deep do you
Yeah,
get into the
yeah.
draft?
Oh, I try to watch the first couple rounds, first 2, 3 rounds, really in depth, and then obviously it sucks after that, and it doesn't matter. But I try to get excited about it, and then the Bears do something really stupid and draft like a kicker from Appalachian State in like the first round because that's what they do, or they trade it off for somebody who's got like a year left in their fucking career, and it's stupid. So it's hard to get really excited about it.
Yeah, I hear you. Anything else college football wise before we move on to tonight's main
That pretty
topic?
much wraps it up for the 2019 season. I'm sure I've got kind of my top 25 for next year already in place, so we'll have to dive into that come spring and see where we're at.
Yeah, we'll have to watch some of the spring football. That's the good part is most of those are televised now, and you kind of get to see a little bit and get a little preview of everything. So yeah, maybe we'll shut up about college football for a while, and we'll put that to the side. I'm not big into basketball, but I don't know, for the sake of being relevant with sports, I guess I can start watching college basketball and pay attention to March
I
Madness. And
Oh yeah, I'll watch once March Madness. That's about as in depth as I can get on basketball.
yeah, so I'll make sure I pay attention a little bit. And I do like basketball. Like I used to be a big Chicago Bulls fan when I was a kid, and like, oh man.
Weren't we all?
Oh, well, it was like I watched every single game that I could. Like I was all about that shit. Now it's
Yeah,
just
I
like
like the Bulls too. Even though I like the Bulls, did you have the same Charlotte Hornets fucking windbreaker puffy jacket that everybody had in the
no,
world?
I didn't. Everybody had that though. I know what you mean. Like
Yeah,
that
I
was
had it.
crazy.
I had it. I don't even know where it came from, but I had it. I didn't buy it. Nobody bought it for me. I think they literally just manifested out of thin air. That's why everybody had one. Mine
Ugh.
did.
It was crazy. Well, and then everybody had the Nebraska starter jacket.
Well, yeah. Well, of course, because they were the Alabama of '90s. So yeah, what do you know?
Yeah, yeah. All
Yeah, if
right.
you grew up in Alabama, you'd have a brother that was a Husker fan in the '90s.
Yeah, you'd have a dunkel that was a Nebraska fan.
Good
Oh,
stuff.
was that an incest joke? It
Stop.
might have been. It might have been.
That is the high class
Ugh.
kind of comedy you get here on the Dog and Chicken Show,
Damn
folks.
right it
Hey, have you heard
is.
of Anchor?
Boom, here comes the ad, folks. Uh all right. Next little part of our show here. This is probably going to be the meat of it because I think this is where I don't think Tony. I don't think we disagree on some of this. However, kind of challenged you last week of like look into this and like convince me that I'm being paranoid or that I'm just being psychotic, or whatever. But I want to show the clip that I had sent you. I gotta make sure I'm sharing the audio here. Now, the clip itself, I want to make sure, and I don't remember how long this video is. It's not too terribly long. I don't
This
think.
one, it's like 20 minutes.
Is it really that long?
Yeah.
We don't have to watch the whole thing. We won't go through all that. Just for the sake of it. So if you look up on Facebook, AMTV, he has this video posted, and this has been circulating around in people's messenger, and it's kind of been one of those like you get it from a random person, and you're like, do I actually watch this? And I watched it before this false information checked by independent fact checkers thing came out. Now, what this video talks about is what the Virginia governor and the new legislative team. They had like a blue sweep of Virginia, and they took over damn near everything in the state. And now they're trying to enact these very, very strict gun laws across the entire state that have pretty much made every right-wing crazy nut job, or even the moderate or libertarian folks like us, a little worried of like, what the hell is this all mean? Now, I've researched this video itself. Tony, did you watch the whole thing?
I did, and
it seemed like a lot of paranoia.
Well-spoken.
It seemed like
he's very well spoken. Yeah, he's very paranoid, and the thing about these independently funded news outlets, which this guy says right at the beginning, you know, he's the founder, CEO, creator of whatever this is, what AMTV, and these are all self-funded, narrative-pushed media, air quote, outlets. Their sole purpose is to push an idea and a narrative on the public. And he's very well spoken, and he's very convincing in what he's trying to say. That said, I haven't seen any reputable source that says, yeah, AMTV has some legitimate points. But he does talk very well spoken about what they are doing, although he is going to use a lot of NRA based talking points to further what he's trying to tell us in this video. So some of it makes a lot of sense. Some of it, yeah, he's tinfoil hatting it without the tinfoil hat.
So, well put. I would agree with most of that. However, in this video, now, for those just listening in, I have the Facebook page pulled up with the video, and it pops up right away that this is false information. You know how you get those little warnings from Facebook saying that, hey, this is fake news. And then you click on the see why, which most of us probably don't. Most of us probably see that, hey, this isn't true, so don't watch it, because that's what they tell you to do. This isn't true, don't watch it. So I click the see why. The only thing, and this has been fact-checked also by another fact-checking group that hates Facebook, this is literally the only reason they flagged it was because in the video, he cites that a job opening for probably the biggest tinfoil hat conspiracy thought he had on there was in New York. They were posting a job for confiscation, a UN job for confiscation and disarmament or something. And it was kind of a coincidence. The job was posted on like December 23rd in New York. And he was like, hey, there's trucks in Virginia. And he shows a picture of it, from the United Nations, and kind of like helps you lead to a conclusion that the UN's going to invade Virginia and take your guns. That's probably the biggest, like, yeah, that's probably sketch. But I think most normal, sane people that watch it.
I didn't.
Most normal, sane people would be like, yeah, the UN's not going to come over here. We'd shoot all them fuckers. But then you look, and that's exactly what they said, that this is false news, and they don't want you to watch it. Checked by independent fact checkers. And then they make this little C video, super small, in the bottom. You're right, it's about 20 minutes long. But
hey, everybody,
we'll just listen to
and
like
in the United States. I think if that was really the case, the legislation that I'm about to read to you wouldn't be worded the way that it is worded. In a confiscatory method to take guns out of the hands of innocent, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, not just in Virginia, but I think they're attempting to roll this out all across every great state in our country. And we need to take this very, very seriously. And understand that this draconian...
So that's probably his first like little hint in this video of getting it's just Virginia right now. Like, yeah. It's concerning. It is concerning, but it's right now it's just Virginia. Like, they already have some of these laws in California, and some of them in Florida, and some of them in Chicago. Like, it's not like most of these laws aren't unheard of, and they've happened.
Right.
But this is him trying to scare the shit out of people.
Well, that's just it. It's fear mongering, and you heard it right there when he said law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. That's clearly him, buddy, you and me here in the camera. We're friends. I back you. You should be scared, and I'm telling you why you should be scared. It's playing to fear, and that's exactly what he's doing, and I understand why. Because you read how these things are worded, and you can absolutely take it in a context where it is fear-inducing if you are someone who owns a lot of guns and uses a lot of guns and lets people borrow your guns and buys guns for other people. Yeah, this is going to apply to a lot of people, and it's going to affect a lot of people.
So I'll defend the video real quick a little bit, because most of the facts that he has in there are true. Like Governor Northam has tried to persuade lawmakers to push some of these laws, and 4 of them originally got passed. One got struck down, I believe, a couple days ago, that the judiciary community did not agree to. They said it was unconstitutional or something like that. But the other 3 were passed. But like this fear-mongering thing, like, I'm okay with it, because that's exactly what Governor Northam is doing. And he's going to continue to do. And he's obviously got a bigger stage than some random dude that we've never seen on Facebook before, who just doesn't agree with these laws. So I think it's fair game. I really do, especially what you see. Hold on, I can pull it up here. Another news article. I think this was, I can't remember what day it was, January 15th. Declaring a state of emergency as tensions escalate over gun rights rally. So,
yep, this is the one that I read today, actually. Yep.
So state of emergency, he's saying, now I get it. You don't want guns at a rally, but you are trying to set laws against people that want guns. And he's trying to shut this down. Supposed threats, which from what I understand were memes. Somebody like put a meme out that
right. That's
he's taking as a
soft
threat.
Side of it. Right, that's the soft side of it, is the social media memes, right? But then there's going to be the other side of it, where it is the loon who will take it too far and will use a firearm to try to intimidate a government official into stepping down from this issue, because they're afraid that their gun is going to go away. There's going to be at least one in the crowd, because this thing's gained a lot of traction. There's going to be a lot of bodies at this, right? So I can't really blame them for not wanting a bunch of citizens trying to promote free carry firearms, bringing their firearms to a government area where government officials are going to be. That's scary too. Like that's just as scary as the government coming to take your guns. We could see a bad deal happen if people get as freaked out and spooked as some people are suggesting.
I don't think it's scary. I think most people are the ones that are gonna show up to this and actually be, protesting this. It's almost like it's just like bringing like the. I'll bring it together like this. So you seen the signs of those that are protesting that they should be able to have abortions, and they put up those god awful signs and show them to your kids, right?
Right.
It's I don't want to see them. I don't want my kids to see them. I respect your right to protest, but you know what? That is your right to make that sign and protest what you want. And, and the way I look at it is, fuck, I should have known there was a protest today. I should have just drove around that shit.
Right.
Now, if they're wanting to protest because somebody's taking their gun rights away, the Second Amendment is very clear on a lot of stuff, and it's interpreted a little bit funky depending on what side of the aisle you're on. But the fact that not only is Governor Northam going to try to prevent the citizens of Virginia from protesting the way they want to, and it's not much, like, I get it, it's a mechanical weapon that can do harm, but that's what they're fighting to
Why
keep.
do you need a gun to protest on government property?
Why do you need a sign?
What more is a gun gonna do than a sign?
What more is a sign gonna do?
There you go. So why would you need something that can actually shoot somebody in the heat of the moment?
I could stab you with the picket sign.
Peaceful protest. You could.
So how about,
why would you need the gun there?
You don't need the gun there. It's a symbol. So if I'm a responsible gun owner, I'm probably not going to have it loaded. I'm probably not going to be ready to shoot somebody. What is the point?
That's hardly the point. The point is you could draw a fucking picture of a gun on a sign. That gets the point across just the same. You don't need a gun there because the gun is there as a symbol of intimidation if you're at a supposed peaceful protest in support of your right to bear arms.
That's
exactly what it is.
In a way, it's freedom of speech, in my opinion. Of, you want to take this away from me, come get it.
Your freedom of speech is your protest. That's why you're there. That's your freedom of speech. You don't need an equalizer to intimidate to get your point across.
Well, the police will have guns.
Yep, and they are supposed to. That's the standard that we are in society. The police have the guns. They're the force.
What's the Second Amendment's purpose for allowing us to have guns as citizens?
The Second Amendment is supposed to give us that ability to have guns and own guns, right?
For what purpose?
Do we need them at a protest at a government facility?
Well, for what purpose?
Is it necessary?
What purpose are... I'm still trying to get my preface here. What purpose are we allowed to have guns as a people?
I understand your point, and I'm not disagreeing, but it's unnecessary to have the gun there.
So
if you're at
the government is trying to oppress the citizens of Virginia right now, and those citizens are looking at the Second Amendment, and the Second Amendment says pretty much, to avoid being oppressed by anybody, whether it be a government or a tyrannical.
You're allowed to have guns to prevent the government from taking your rights.
And now the government's trying to take your rights. So what do you do?
Well, do you go to the government's door with a gun and try to instigate it? I guess you can.
They're asking for it.
It's not going to go well.
This is so dangerous. So
Let me put my tinfoil hat on for a second.
Knock it out, brother. Knock it out. I got a lot on this one.
Because I think it's pretty well understood idea that the right uses fear-mongering to rile up the gun nuts. Is that not understood as kind of commonplace?
I would agree, and the right gun nuts that are out there, or I'm not a gun nut. Like, hey, calm down. Like, it's just a label. Fucking move on. You've been called worse.
Right.
All right.
Right. Would you also agree, even to a small degree, that maybe the left uses the same talking points and fear mongering to rile up the gun nuts in the hope that one of the gun nuts goes off and does something stupid, like takes the governor by force with a firearm, kidnaps him, gets that extreme situation so that they can go and say, look, we clearly need to confiscate weapons from the public because these people cannot be trusted with them.
Yeah,
Do you not think that maybe the left wants that to happen so they can use that as proof that we need to take guns away?
In a way, I think that's kind of where I was alluding to. I think you're right. I think what typically happens when you have this battle for an idea, like if you and I just can't agree on something, we'll draw a line in the sand and we both agree we won't cross that line. Now, sometimes people are assholes, and I might draw that line right in front of your goddamn feet, so you have nowhere to go. What are you going to do? You're going to cross the goddamn line. And that's what like you just said, that's what the left's doing. They are drawing that line so goddamn close to the right's feet they know they're going to trip over that son of a bitch, and they're going to be able to have, they'll hand them a towel and be like, you have egg on your face now. You better wipe this off because you got some problems there, and this is why we're doing this. Now you understand, like, and it's going to try to gain support for sympathy, but they're going to, as you're alluding to, they're going to provoke it while trying to make themselves look like a victim.
They're basically trying to change the law in subtle ways over time, little by little, and get away with what they can get away with changing, to the point where something breaks. And then once it breaks, then they can try to push bigger change, better change, more impactful change all at once, because you just take a little. You take what you can get. You only take what you can reach until you can reach the entire piece of the pie. And that's what they're doing here. And I'll be honest, like, you look at in layman's terms, if you look at some of the proposals here that they're offering, it's not really that insane to think that, okay, yeah, that's acceptable, that's fine.
Yeah,
like some people are obviously going to be like, no, this is terrible, but
so
it's not like,
Tony,
it's
I pulled up the ones that are through, if you want to look through these and kind of like, and I agree with you. Some of these, like, I honestly, like, they're not that fucking bad. The one that got struck down, I would agree with, because it was SB 16. They struck that down because it was a ban on assault weapons with high capacity magazines, bump stocks, and silencers. But the big thing,
wasn't that already in place?
Well, the bump stocks is a government one. Silencers is
right.
Okay. That's a federal government one. But this one got struck down. They don't really allude to it in the story, but it got struck down because they tried to redefine the name of an assault weapon. I can't remember exactly what they were calling it, but it was
the description that I saw, well, in the video that you showed a clip of, basically he made it sound like
it was everything except for a bolt action.
Gun.
Anything but a bolt action, pretty much. Shotguns included were going to be banned. Like, so.
Right. The wording on this is so piss poor, but it's piss poor on purpose because that leaves it open to interpretation.
Yep.
As being alluded to. So I'm glad that, I mean, I'm fine with that being reintroduced, worded better. They knew what they were doing here. Obviously, they could have worded this better and probably gotten it through. Maybe let's do that. Let's find a common place here. Let's find a happy medium, if you will, and then reintroduce it. But yeah, this didn't need to pass because piss poor wording and loose interpretation. Good on you guys.
So the ones that did pass, we got SB 35. This allows local authority or allow localities to ban guns from public events. Repeals current laws that restrict localities from enforcing ordinances that would prohibit the purchase, possession, transfer, ownership, carry, storage, or transport of firearms or ammunition. SB 69.
Okay, so that 35. How do you interpret that? What does that mean to you?
That's gun shows. That's any. So here's the deal. Those that don't know,
that eliminates gun shows, basically.
Yeah, and those that don't know, like the NRA, like main office in History Museum is in fucking Richmond, Virginia. Like, this is an attack on the NRA, 100%. And so they're going at the throat of the NRA right here, on purpose. This is very apparent. That law specifically
is a clear shot.
Yeah, this is kicking the balls to the NRA, 100%.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and this eliminates the gun shows, as we said. The transfer and ownership, carry, storage of firearms or ammunition. Prohibit the purchase, possession, transfer, ownership, carry, storage, or transport of firearms. So that's just public events. Now, that was the current law that currently restricts localities. So
that's saying
that doesn't touch on any of the personal ownership if you let somebody borrow it, or is that on another of one of these articles?
So that's where it goes to SB 70 is requiring a background check on all private firearms.
Okay.
So that's where if you do a private event and you have to have an invite and you do one of these gun shows, but you do an invite only, like I'm sure there's a lot of background shit because it's just kind of like it spells it out really, really simply. I'm sure there's a lot of most of these were like 10 pages long and there's a lot of legal jargon in there.
Right.
But
so
SB
this
70
would basically
says
allow
all private
a gun
purchases
show.
have to have a background check.
Okay, so this would allow a gun show with very strict restrictions and sets of rules, even to get to the place. Is that correct?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's a lot of
best
pages
case
to
scenario. Right. So this article here, that basically prevents you from letting somebody handle or borrow your firearm, does it not?
Yep.
So that's fine. I guess if you only look at it from a standpoint of, hey, Frank, you need to borrow my Glock? Sure. Okay. Maybe we don't need to be doing that, I guess. But what does that mean?
So real quick, while you're on that, like, I don't think there's ever been a time where I was like, hey, I need to borrow your handgun, because that sounds fucking weird. But there have been times.
Absolutely. I agree.
I've gone to shooting ranges where my buddies have, a gun that I'm like, hey, that's pretty fucking cool. Do you mind if I shoot a couple of rounds out of there? Like, is that illegal at that point? The way it, like, yes, the simple text of that's what it sounds like. But then, the simple thing of, my neighbor has this bunny that is like chewing electrical cords during Christmas, just like he's chewing mine. I got a fucking little 22. I'll shoot the little bitch in the head. If my neighbor says, hey, he's in my fucking front yard every night, can I borrow your 22 so I can pop him? That's illegal. I can't even kill a rodent at that point. Sorry, PETA. Yeah. I might shoot a rabbit in the head. Fuck off. Sorry.
I ain't any better. I got the squirrel hunt on Saturday, so I can't say much.
Ooh. But let's talk more about that later.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, I think the most important thing is going to be you can't really lend a firearm to somebody. So what does this mean for teaching your kids how to hunt, or even how like trap shoots, things of that nature? This really makes that cloudy. That makes that a really nasty gray area, because like obviously hunter safety is so damn important if you're going to teach your kids how to hunt. You can't just turn an adult loose in the world and expect them to go out and hunt on the spur of a moment without any proper training with a weapon or going out and doing it first, because that's just stupid. You're handing somebody who's completely green a weapon, and now they have to own that weapon to operate it. They can't learn the ropes, take driver's ed, if you will, to get familiarized with a weapon before going out and using it. That's insane to me. Is it not?
Yeah. So that's I get where you're going with that one. That one's probably not the most, like, I think, like, why are they trying to pass these bills?
They're towing the line, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last one was you can only purchase one handgun every 30 days. Like, what good is that going to do?
I have zero problem with that, because who does that affect other than a dealer, like a private arms dealer?
Right. I honestly, personally, don't care about that one so much, but and I don't know a lot of people that would affect, really. I don't know. I have nobody in my circle of people that go, oh, I need to go buy 10 handguns today. Unless they're maybe a collector, and I just don't know. But so, like, I don't see a big impact there, but you can buy one handgun every 30 days. So if I'm going to be some crazy nut job, and by the way, most mass shootings happen with handguns, so you can still purchase handguns, but only one a month. Okay, So I can
That's
plan.
still 12 a year.
So in theory, not doing this, folks. I'm not a crazy nut job. Got to put that disclaimer out there. But in theory, I could plan out an attack in 6 months and end up with 6 handguns.
Right.
That are semi-automatic and could easily just do as much damage as an AR-15 or what they call an AR-15. It's really not an AR-15, but assault rifles aren't real, folks. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't get the point of it. Like, it's
you
a
want to
lot
prove that? I've got a fucking Caltech in my garage that takes the exact same Glock magazine and Glock rounds. It's a 9mm. Basically, it's an AR-15 that shoots Glock mags in 9mm rounds. So yeah, it does the exact same damage.
I'm looking at my gun cabinet right now, and I'm like, this is illegal in Virginia pretty soon.
Yep.
2 guns. I could keep 2. I keep 2. There's a lever action and a bolt action. There's a lever action that's actually my old man's, and then there's a bolt action from.
Oh, well, then that's illegal.
Bolt action's fine and a lever action's fine because you can't.
No, it's not yours. You just said it's your dad's.
Oh fuck, you're right. So I'm down to 1 gun, which I don't even know if technically I would get away with that one because it was given to me by my wife's grandmother who passed away, and I have no paperwork on the goddamn thing.
Yep. You have no guns now.
But it's a bolt action 22 from like 1918. Doesn't even have a serial number because they didn't fucking do that back then. Like, it's just a really old goddamn antique gun. Those are the only 2 I have legal out of like the 10 that are in my gun cabinet. So,
yeah. Blue state doesn't matter. They're all gone now. I think I registered my Glock, and I think I may have registered Lindsay's 22 handgun, her Walter P22, just because it was in the case when I was, we bought it, and all right, yeah, fill it out and send it in, whatever. I don't care.
But you registered it with the manufacturer.
Right. But
that's for recall. That's for recall purposes and shit like that. There's nothing. I don't see anything wrong with doing that, but I just don't feel comfortable. So let's imagine a world, Tony, where we have to register our guns to local government because this is something that Virginia has proposed. There is no laws presented as I speak today that I know of. But they do want to do this to where you have to register your firearms. So the one they struck down, the AT or the assault rifle one, that was one of the conditions. If you were going to be grandfathered in with your current assault rifle, you could never sell it to anybody. Nobody from outside the state of Virginia could bring it in, but those residents that wanted to keep it had to register it through the government. So let's think about that. And in the world we live in today, where local law enforcement is blamed for racism and all the shit that they get a hard time for, which I don't agree with. I think most of the time it's misunderstandings and people blowing shit out of proportion. But if that was to happen, say there is a cop that does have that type of tendency and will think differently of somebody. If I'm a cop and I have to go talk to you, Tony, I have to come to your house because of whatever reason, a disturbance or somebody called in because there was a lot of, loud yelling and possible violence in the home. And I look up and I see, well, he owns this gun, this gun, this gun, this gun. I'm probably going to be a little bit more likely to draw my weapon at the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're completely harmless, you would never bring a gun to the door. You'd be probably like me. All my guns are locked up. There's no ammo even near my guns. Everything's locked to where, it's a nice display, but good luck because you can't fucking shoot the sons of bitches right now. But as an officer, now you think in today's world, say you live in the ghetto of wherever, you're minding your own business. You're not doing anything wrong. I could see people getting killed easily before it. So that's just one take on it.
Sure, but
there's a lot of ways you can take this down dirty roads.
Right. I agree. I absolutely see where you're going with it. I think there would probably end up being instances where something like that does happen. But I think a lot of that scenario touches on our law enforcement problem in this country, and that's a whole nother can of worms. So for me, I absolutely agree and understand that there would be a lot of issues for person to person and different situation to different situation having to register your firearms. That said, yeah, fuck, you got to register your car anyway. What's one more thing?
I won't. This is as close to registration as I'll get.
You know what? I don't like leaving another paper trail either, but I got nothing to hide. For me,
I got
anyway.
nothing to hide either.
It doesn't offer a big inconvenience for me if I had to register, my few guns. It doesn't make a big difference to me. Like, obviously, there's other people out there that are going to have, gigantic, a wall of guns, like behind me, just be full of guns, right?
Those people have an FFL license and they have to register a lot of stuff. So that's already well known.
But are all of them? They're not all.
Collectors and most people that have an enormous amount of guns probably have an FFL. There's probably very few that don't, and those are probably on the fringe. Those are probably on the fringe, and you're right. Those are probably the scary people. There's probably a few of those out there. Some of them are
I probably know plenty of people who don't and have that many guns. So
like what's a wall of them? Like 15, 20? Like I could make a wall of guns too. It wouldn't take me that long to get there, but like
off the top of my head,
are they really that harmful?
I know a handful of people that probably have 1 to 3 gigantic safes that they could fill with firearms.
Sure, and but are they collecting? Are they antique guns? Are they fun guns? How often do they even shoot them?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
Some antiques, some collectors, some fun. It's a mix. And do those people have those registered? I guarantee they don't. Are they dangerous? Do I think that? Fuck no. But like you said, does the government think they're dangerous? Of course they're going to think they're dangerous. Look how many fucking firearms they have. That's how we're going to rate people, right? Because you have this many firearms. Obviously, if something snaps in your head, you could go ballistic and do a lot of damage just because you have access to this many firearms. So it's a catch-22 no matter how you look at it. But personally, for me, it would not be a massive inconvenience if I had to register my firearm. If I want a gun that badly and I want to go buy a new gun, I was required to pay a small registration fee so that the government could know that I fucking have that gun. Fine. I'm willing to do that. For hunters, it's a different thing because it prevents, some different aspects of it. Obviously, the lending of guns turns into a big thing. And I know, like, last year, Buddha was talking something on social media about one of the things they were proposing. I'm trying to remember the exact details, but it was going to make it so hunters had to pay like 1 to 3 extra fees to do one simple thing. And yeah, I get it. It's another big inconvenience. And it's not a big deal like in small rural Nebraska. But it's give and take for me, I guess. So I'm willing to give a little.
There's a difference between hunting laws and gaming laws.
There is.
Because like, I get it. Like if I want to, I see Buddha's pictures, he's in, by the way, Buddha, look what I can do. That's 3 now, bitch. But I see his pictures on Facebook, he's out doing coyotes and whatnot. But like any additional taxes or stuff or things that they want him to pay for in order to do what he likes to do, that goes into conservation to allow, the population, a lot of these animals to stay alive, to allow a game warden to be out there to make sure people aren't poaching and doing things they shouldn't be doing. So most of the money that your hunters pay for licensing and all these tags, most of it goes to good. And that's proven, like it does a lot of good. So anytime, like, I don't bitch too much. Like, I see the fishing license cost go up, I see the hunting license cost go up, I'm like, you know what, it's okay. Like, that, I'll eat that, I'll pay money for that, I don't fucking care. But when I look at our Constitution and you look at the amendments and how they're written, and really believing in what they stood for, and we can do the philosophical thoughts of the founders, but the rights that they put down are not rights given to you. They are your natural born rights.
Yeah.
So
that's what it means to be an American. You're born into this country. Those are your rights from day one.
Right. So the freedom of speech, it precedes you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that it's an inalienable right given to you by God that the government cannot take away. And then the second thing they go to is guns. Do you think that they did not anticipate, like, you have a right to protect yourself? Like, you can go through the mumbo jumbo, the language and how they read it and all the commas and fucking, I've heard every goddamn argument in the world, but why would you go to a God-given right of the freedom of speech shall not be abridged to the Second Amendment? Like, why would that be number 2? And then why would illegal search and seizure be number 4? Like, you start like breaking down the order of them, and some of them, like, you're like, it's kind of random, but then you look back at the times of the day, you understand it a little bit more. But yeah, you need to be able to speak your mind and tell your government to fuck off, and then you need to be able to protect yourself from those people. That's how I looked at it. And that's how I interpret it today, is I have the right to tell, whether it be Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, I don't give a fuck which one, if they do something that infringes on my rights that are given to me by God, I can tell you to fuck off and I can protect myself from it.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Why those were put into place to begin with.
So then
the interpretation's the same.
Then why is it okay for Virginia to start chopping slowly away? Because you know how these go. We all know how this goes. Okay, I'm going to put a limit to 1 gun a month. Oh, I'm going to have you register. I'm going to have you do this now. And then it starts adding on slowly and slowly until eventually you don't get to do shit. Am I wrong?
No, and that's the flip side to it for me. Like, I'll be honest, like, this whole discussion, I'm actually making a conscious effort to get on the other side of it, because we need that other side of it in the discussion. I own guns. I will own more guns. That's fine with me, because I live in rural Nebraska, where, you know, the Second Amendment rights are pretty well protected for now. But so I have to be on the other side of this debate. For me, I guess the clear thing on why they are allowed to do this and take these rights away and change what our rights mean and change the interpretation, it's just like evolution in my eye. These were brought to light and given to us as rights in the 1700s. We're now in the 2000s. Things have changed dramatically, and we are on such a different trajectory as a country than we were in the 1700s. We are in such a weird place as a population than we were when we founded the country. Like you said, you look at the order and you look at the wording, it fit the time. You look at the time now, we're in a crisis amongst ourselves, being ourselves alive as a country. So what other purpose does the government serve than to serve us? Like, that was the entire reason for the government. They were supposed to govern us, but we were supposed to be able to prevent them from stepping over their boundaries, right? That's the amendment. That's why we have them. But we put them in place to govern us. And we're getting to that point in society where we can't govern ourselves. We need the government to do something about some specific issues. Is gun rights one of them? Is gun violence one of them? Yes, but not everywhere. It's such a gray area. And this touches on the culture thing, because culture is so different state to state, town to town, coast to coast. So, and that's why it makes it so interesting. With Virginia's doing this, obviously, because it's a blue state now. They're going to do it because they can get away with starting the footwork for this. So is that going to happen in Nebraska? Fuck no, it's not going to happen in Nebraska. Is that going to happen in Texas? Probably not. Is that going to happen in fuck yeah, it's going to happen in California, because it's already happened.
Already happened, yeah.
So it's a cultural thing for me. It's a product of the times. Like, there probably are things that need to change. Like it or not. Does it fuck with our rights? You damn right it does. Is that right? No, it's not right. But we got to do something. And nobody has the answer, no matter what they say. Nobody has the answer. There's no answer that makes everybody happy. Somebody's got to just bite it and suffer for the greater good. It's just a matter of who's going to take the bigger bite.
Yeah. And a lot of this conversation, I think back to what Phil always talks about, that we're in the midst of a cold civil war. I think we have been for quite some time. I agree with
absolutely.
Him on that. This whole Virginia thing in the protests that are about to happen, keep your ears to the ground, folks. If they're drawing that line so close to the feet of the folks that are trying to fight against the gun ban, shit can get crazy fast. They're trying to trigger people's memories of what happened in Charlottesville, which was one crazy lunatic in a car, by the way. It wasn't even fucking anything to do with the protest, the march, or the fucking tiki torch guys. Like, it was some random lunatic that got into a fucking car and ran somebody over. Whether he was on one side or the other, I really don't know. But it was some lunatic. Now, some lunatic,
regardless of the weapon of choice, somebody that wants to harm a lot of people with whatever blunt instrument they use, there's something wrong with them.
Right. So one lunatic could fuck this whole thing up. And the fireworks are locked, loaded. All their artillery shells are in the fucking tubes. The fuses are all tied together for this goddamn thing to just explode into fucking crazy fireworks in Virginia. So hopefully nothing happens. Like, honestly, it's the last thing we want, because that would start a lot of crazy shit going on, and could potentially put us down a very, very dark path as a country. Hopefully nothing happens, but keep your ear close to the ground on that one. But real quick with before I jump off of that, it's about to go cold to hot. You asked, what is the government's job today and what are they to serve? Their job is to keep us safe. We elect congressmen and senators and presidents and governors. Their job is to allow us to be free, prosperous, and to keep us safe. That's it. That's all I've ever looked at in any leader, no matter who I voted for in the past. That's all I ever looked at. I looked at their policies and said, yeah, I think we could thrive under that. I think they could keep us safe there. And they fucking lie to you every time. Every fucking one of them, including Donald Trump. Donald Trump hasn't kept all of his promises. He has gone. He's actually got more troops in the goddamn Middle East right now. And I know a couple of people right now are probably triggered because I always defend Trump. But no, like, the last fucking month has pissed me off. We have no goddamn reason to be doing a lot of the shit we're doing right now. Whatever, kill Soleimani. I'm good with that. Why do you have to send more troops over there? Like, fucking do what you said you're going to do. We are feeding the military industrial complex and this fucking goddamn giant of I don't know if I want to get into this goddamn mess. You guys are gonna fucking hate me after this, but I'll let you go. I'll cut some of that out. Jesus Christ, like, Jesus. I'm getting fired up right now, T.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, that's politics. We're gonna that's Fuck, that's another show altogether.
It's fucking idiocracy right now. That's it.
Oh, it absolutely. Yeah, no, we that's where we are. We're not as dumb as a population. Most of us are. Some of us are. That's a scary thing. And there you have it. Some of us.
No, sorry.
Some of this population is that fucking stupid, and that same population that is that fucking stupid can go buy guns. There we have it. That's the fear. So, all these laws in Virginia, the wording was piss poor on all of them. Let's be frank. Open to interpretation, so they could be interpreted how they needed to be for a specific situation, right or wrong.
I think they were intentional with the wording.
There you go.
To trigger for sure.
So, I made this point about a week ago on a message board, as I usually do. From what I'm hearing, the way the changes to the laws are being worded, that's what people are afraid of, that they'll be open to interpretation that can be manipulated into disarmament. The response I got, this was a very well thought out response. I give this person credit. I have no legal experience, but generally, if a law is worded poorly, which this one probably is, and put into effect, someone will sue, especially if the Second Amendment is at stake. The courts would most likely either throw the law out or Virginia would have to word it better. Either way, no responsible gun owner is getting disarmed until the Supreme Court allows it. So, in a nutshell, yes.
So
what's going on in Virginia is not great, but we're not at disarmament yet.
No, but then that takes me into the like. Here's my problem with the left is you don't give a fuck about how much taxpayer money we spend on dumb shit like this. We spent 2 years on a Russian hoax, and now we're spending all this money on a goddamn impeachment. That's a fucking joke. And now you want to spend money on sending
don't bring
this
that
shit
up to the fucking leftists.
You want to send this shit to the Supreme Court so they can fight this. Like the amount of money we're going to spend to watch people try to just rape what the country wants us to do. They elected somebody. Fucking whatever. Deal with it for 4 years. If he did something illegal, show me the evidence because I haven't fucking seen it yet. Whatever. We can go down that roll some other time. But it's a wasting money group of people that try to pretend like they're the People's Party when you got Nancy Pelosi, who's $100 million like hundreds of millions of dollars. Where'd she get that money? She's been in politics her whole fucking life. You think she got that from being in the fucking goddamn House? No. The bitch is crooked. They're all thieves.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she. Oh god, yeah, she. I feel like
still fired up.
I can't wait. Yeah, I know. I can't wait to find out all the crazy shit about Pelosi that we're leaving covered up right now because, oh man, I feel like when shit hits the fan with her, it's gonna be juicy. Like it's gonna be fucking juicy. But all right, so on the gun control side, because you're getting fired up. You're gonna get off topic. It's gonna spiral into
I'm like, you mentioned Nancy, and you want to talk about Nancy. I got all kinds of Nancy shit.
I don't want to talk about Nancy until she fucking her cocaine prostitute Asian
real quick. I do have one fun thing. I was actually watching Jimmy Dore. He's pretty progressive and super lefty. He's almost communist, but he's funny. He is really, really funny. So I do watch the show. So Tony, I try to keep it diverse. I keep a diverse thought process. I watch the righties, I watch the lefties, and I watch them both on comedy as well. But he made a really good point, and he's very, very critical of the Democrats, even though he is very lefty. But he was like, why didn't Nancy Pelosi try to impeach George Bush? Well, Julian Assange came out with documentation that in 2002, the Bush administration let Nancy Pelosi and senior Democrats know that they were torturing people and waterboarding people. So she was complicit. And so then when the Democratic Party, you remember back in the 2000s, they're like, why aren't we impeaching George Bush? This is a war crime. We need to impeach George Bush. They wanted to do it then. And she was like, it will not happen. We are not doing this. Well, he uncovered that through the Julian Assange stuff. And he's like, that's exactly why she wouldn't do it then. She was complicit. She knew it was happening. She didn't do anything about it. So now she's not complicit on, I don't know what she would be complicit on because nothing really fucking happened, but sorry. Side note. I had to get that one out. That was like fucking front of mind. I watched that shit the other night and I was like, yep, that makes sense. Fucking makes sense. Protect. That's a CYA, yo. Got a CYA. Cover your ass. Fuck Nancy.
Yeah, no, she's kind of the worst. So, all right, we've just, oh my God, we're never going to actually get through an entire, like, this can take so many weeks of podcasting to get through this gun control stuff. But some
There's
of the,
I
actually, oh, there's so much. There's so much. It's such a complex issue, and it is an issue. Do we have any data on the mass shootings in recent years?
I sure do.
Okay, before we get off the topic, I wanted to go into that a little bit because I actually have some bullet point stuff that obviously we can spread this out over multiple episodes, but I think the mass shooting data, that's something that gets brought up a lot. I think that's an important one because some of the facts are skewed. Some of them aren't looked at enough. We covered the law changes in Virginia. That's going to be an ongoing thing. That's something we'll obviously revisit, especially once these laws are put into effect and we start seeing it impact people. Why does this country have such a problem with people shooting each other? Obviously, availability, mental health, all the trickle-down theories. How can we prevent and keep guns out of the wrong people's hands without disarmament of law-abiding citizens? That's a talking point we need to discuss. Punishment for gun crimes, whether violent or non-violent, i.e. shooting someone out of anger or i.e. illegally owning a firearm. If you're a felon and you're not allowed to do it, but you still have one, such as that. And one that a few people said we should walk down was the funding that gets pumped into Washington over the gun control and gun violence issue. And I said, for or against it? Both. That is, that's probably like a fucking three-parter right there alone, isn't it?
That one is, I can sum that one up real quick for you. It's pretty much a wash.
Okay.
It really is.
Really?
It's like it costs about $290 million a year on average for, and I might be off by like a little bit there, but roughly that's what it costs the American taxpayers every year for the mass shooting gun violence across the country. That's about what the NRA pumps in. Just the NRA. That's like just what the NRA is pumping into the lawmakers and lobbyists. It's a weird relationship. Like it's almost like the NRA is kind of paying for. Yeah.
Well, the NRA is always
it's weird. It sounds dirty, but like their job is to try to protect the rights of like, hey, this cost you $200 and so million. We'll foot that bill. Don't fuck with our rights. Like I don't know. Like the NRA's got some dirty shit behind them, but they've done a lot of good too.
But yeah, they are. Like the NRA's main focus, they still do that stuff, right? They still function the way they were originally intended to function, protecting rights. Well, but yeah, the funding and the political influence that they have can't be ignored. But what's funny to me is we're seeing a shift from the NRA being one of the most powerful political influencers to like Facebook is kind of nipping at the heels, is it not? Like social media,
and they're taking down. They're taking down Second Amendment people on Facebook.
Hey, Google got Tulsi out of the fucking race, did it not?
Yep, sure did.
So there you have it. Like, it's not just the NRA anymore. But yeah, on the topic of guns, those are some of the bullet points that people were. I brought up the topic. Yeah, this is what we're talking about tonight. And are there any topics or bullet points or questions that we should be focused on? And these were some of the things that got brought up. And obviously, we've barely scratched the surface here. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. But those are the things we need to focus on moving forward. But the mass shooting numbers specifically, because anytime this topic gets brought up, that's what people go to immediately. Like, these are the numbers. This is why we should be scared. This is why we need preventative measures. This is why we should encourage disarmament, because of the mass shooting problem. So right out of the gate, the United States has the most mass shootings out of any country in the world by 90,000 miles. Like, if you look at a bar graph, it's little smidge, little smidge, little smidge, slightly larger smidge to a goddamn mile is the U.S. So but that's because of population and accessibility.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Because some of the countries that compare us to, we're a population of over 300 million people. And so we present that number per capita to those other countries, and it's not a mile long difference anymore when you compare
it. Yeah, when you compare it from the proper vantage point, the numbers get closer, right?
The problem,
but the argument against that is still people died.
Yeah, and people die. I get that, but here's the thing, Tony, and you sent me like a list of like data points you wanted me to pull together for the show, and here's the problem with data. I can make it look any way I want it to.
Yes.
Anybody
data
can.
Is easily manipulated because you can make data look any way you want to push whatever narrative you want.
And that's exactly why I have this screen pulled up right now. This is from Vox, VOX.
Yeah, tell me about this. Let's explain this a little bit for the audio listeners.
So right now we have a map of the United States pulled up. And this is I seen this on Facebook originally, probably 6 or 8 months ago, from a family member of no less, that I was really disappointed in that they were even looking at Vox. I know Vox is fake news. But anyway, this is the type of shit. This is super convincing.
Use the soundboard.
What? Oh yeah, I gotta find the fake news button. God damn it, I wasn't ready for that.
You said it.
I don't have it pulled up. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. I gotta turn it up. God damn it.
Fake news.
I'm not prepared tonight. Jesus.
Fake news.
Damn it.
There.
That's why you got that thing. You got to use it.
I know. I have to finish build my bar. I need another shelf here so I can like have it at my fingertips, because right now it's too low. It's too low. It's way down here right now. It makes it hard. Anyway, so.
But you told me it was going to be the most amazing bar in all of Man Cave. Well, sorry, not Man Cave, because you don't think Man Cave is a cool word. Dan.
I just hit a button. I didn't know what I was going to do.
This is the greatest dude basement in the history of dude basements.
Okay. So I wanted to show this because this is really clickbaity, and it was the reason this was made. And this is a very good example of how you can make data look any way you want it to. So for those just listening, it says, after Sandy Hook, we said never again, and then we let 2,350 mass shootings happen. Yes.
Okay, and when was Sandy Hook?
Oh God, when was Sandy Hook?
Let me look, because that is important. When was Sandy Hook? December 14th, 2012.
Okay, so in 8 years,
almost
really.
8 years to the date.
Yeah. So in 8 years, 2,350 mass shootings. So as you scroll through here, and then it shows a map of the United States with red dots kind of all over the place. Sporadic.
Not much in the north.
Nope, not much in the north.
In the southwest.
It's a lot around the south, the east coast, and the west coast. Midwest
not much
is pretty...
in the Big Sky area.
Yep.
Once you start getting further east in the Midwest, it really picks up. Your entire southern and your eastern, holy shit.
So as you
and
scroll
surprisingly,
through this,
look at Texas. Look at Texas. It's all in the eastern half of Texas, and there's not a lot there.
The rural side, not much. El Paso's crazy.
What? Actually, before you jump into that eastern side, I'm looking at Nebraska, and I'm looking at that northern portion. I'm seeing one dot touching Nebraska.
It's actually in South Dakota.
No, I'm looking at the one between Iowa and Nebraska.
That would have been the border there. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
Let me run through this real quick, because you're what mass shootings happened in Nebraska?
Well, that's what, obviously, I feel like we would know about that.
Von Mar is the only one that is like what we would consider like an actual mass shooting. Anyway, so
like you said, we'll get into it.
This is how they compel you, and so they like show this little blinking dot, and they tell you about Sandy Hook. And they go through, 2016 in Orlando, the nightclub shooting.
That was bad, dude. Fucking Orlando in general. Within
the Vegas music
48
festival.
hours of Orlando was bad.
Yeah. Music festival.
Do you remember that, though?
Vegas? Oh, I do.
Well, I remember Orlando because...
You gonna let me get through this?
Two shootings? Jesus. What?
You gonna let me get through this damn thing?
Because it was two things in Orlando, fuck you, over like 48 hours. Like two shootings happened.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been three.
Orlando.
Like there was some
there's
a crazy fucking weekend.
Orlando's terrible. Florida is terrible.
Oh, yeah. Well, Jesus, look at it. Yeah, on the map alone.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's got to be the big red dot, right?
Yeah. So that's the big red blob in the middle of the state. So now we're up to 2018. We're talking about Parkland on this site, and then
you said Vegas was 17.
Yeah. What's it show here? We'll back it up.
God, it doesn't feel like that long ago.
Yeah, Vegas.
But there you have it. Weird. These all blend together.
Yep,
Jesus.
2017. So yeah, those are the big ones, and they point out all the big ones, and those are the ones that most of us consider an actual mass shooting, like a holy fuck moment. Like when you turned on the news and you saw the Las Vegas shooting, you were like, holy shit, that's fucking terrible. Like those are the ones you look at.
I think Orlando had the unfortunate distinction of being the bloodiest death toll for a mass shooting until Vegas, and I think Vegas now holds that unfortunate distinction.
So let's
I'm not mistaken,
let's define a mass shooting according to this site, because according to Vox, everybody's dying across the entire country, including South Dakota and Nebraska. There's dots all over the place. Their definition is in one incident, 3 people died due to if at least one of the 3 died.
What is that?
Hold on. If at least one of the 3 died from a gun.
So if 3 people die and 1 died from a gun, that's considered a mass shooting, according to that 2350 number.
That's the way I understood it. Okay. So
if I hit somebody with a car,
I don't think that's really going to eliminate a ton of these. Let's be honest, like that'll eliminate some.
Yeah, maybe a handful, sure.
So this is my favorite one. They have like this map of the U.S. where you can like mouse over any state, and it kind of gives you some stats here. So I'm in South Dakota. Let's take a look here. So now this is since 2013. It shows the population is at just under 900,000, and there's 2 incidents. So it's a 0.22% of mass shootings. Now, it only showed.
Wait a minute. Go back. Mass shootings per 100,000 people since 2013. Okay, 0.22. Okay, gotcha. Because of the 2 with the almost 900,000. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So,
yep.
All right. So, folks just listening in, I guess you don't have to do this, but anybody watching, you can play along with me. Let's get out our calculators on our phone.
I'll do you a favor, and I won't get out my phone so you don't bitch at me.
Let's do 100,000 times point. Well, so that's percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually 0.0022. Am I incorrect in that assumption?
I'm not a math scholar, but I believe you're right.
Oops. All right, so 100,000 people, 1000 times 0.0022. Are they really claiming 220 people died in 2 incidents?
That can't possibly be right.
Right.
So that can't be right.
Did I do the math wrong? 100,000 people, and I need to times that by 0.22%. That'd be 0.0022. Is that incorrect?
No, that sounds right.
That's what I come up with.
Okay.
So,
there's got to be somebody listening or watching that's like, wait a minute. If that math is wrong, go ahead and tell us we're dipshits. But what the fuck? No, that doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right in general.
So in that theory, that means 410 people died in Nebraska since 2013 because it's a 0.41. So that'd be 410 people per 100,000.
Right. Okay. No.
Nope.
I feel like no.
And that's 8 incidences. So
8?
It says 8. So that's 3 or more people died in 1 incident.
No.
In a population of 2 million people.
8 incidences, and this is since 2013.
Yeah.
So 7 years. Somehow, eight mass shootings happened in Nebraska, and nobody fucking knows about it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, folks. Those of you who live in Nebraska understand what when you're watching a TV show or a movie, and one of the actors says the word Nebraska, you go, honey, they just said Nebraska on the telly. Did you hear that? They said state we live in. That's how much recognition we get. If there was a fucking mass shooting in Nebraska, I'm pretty sure the population of Nebraska would have fucking known about it. So there was 8 of them. 8 of them, huh? I'm going to call bullshit.
And 410 people.
I feel like we would probably know somebody then.
So,
because that's how it works in Nebraska. You know, fucking everybody.
So
I feel like we would have known somebody in one of those.
And the only reason I'm posting this, and now some of their data's right, like the states that they highlight as bright red are the most violent. Like they are. They really.
Illinois.
Yeah, look at Illinois. So at a 1.7% rate, yeah, it's all Chicago.
All Chicago.
My favorite
Louisiana.
one. So like, and honestly, more people die.
Florida's not as bright as Illinois
or California because the population's so high. So California's got 40 million, and then 20 million in Florida.
Is it really that much?
You want to know what Chicago would look like?
I understand California has more land area than Florida, but I thought the number was closer than that. I'll be damned.
Here's my favorite one. This is really hard to get to. You got to bear with me, those watching.
He's trying to He's in the New England area, and the cursor is really tiny, so it's difficult.
For Washington, D.C.
Like
because
trying to find the G spot. Am I right, ladies?
Yeah, baby. No. So for Washington, D.C. is this itty-bitty bright red dot. 5.33%.
Oh, you found it. What?
Yep.
District of Columbia, mass shootings per 100,000 people since 2013, 5.33. Number of incidents, 37. Population, 693,972. What the fuck?
So that's saying 5% of your population gets killed by guns.
37 mass shootings have happened in D.C. since in the last 7 years. That's what that is saying.
Yep.
No.
But you don't hear about them, do you?
What the fuck?
Don't you think, like, with all the... Everybody knows about Chicago. Everybody knows about California and Florida. Everybody knows... Like Philadelphia's got a high crime rate. Baltimore's been all over the news. I kind of know that Washington D.C.'s got some shitty areas. But wow. So they're willing to include that little piece of information right there. And it's hard to find. You seen me trying to mouse over that son of a bitch. And it's hiding there in plain sight. Like it's right there. The numbers don't match up, first off. That's what disturbs me the most. And we're manipulating data one way or another. I don't know how they're getting the math, but they're manipulating the data to feed their narrative.
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate. That's what's happening.
Alaska had one. Hawaii's safe.
Well, who the fuck wants to shoot people in Hawaii? It's fucking paradise.
New Hampshire and North Dakota, Idaho, safe.
New Hampshire, North Dakota, Idaho, Hawaii. Go there. You're safe, folks.
Yep. So here's kind of that graph you're talking about. This is how you can manipulate data.
All right.
Maybe you can look some of these up. Like, how many people are in Switzerland versus the U.S.?
Well, okay.
How about Austria?
Where's Norway on this chart? Where's Norway? Because Norway, for some reason, was the example I was given one day. Norway.
Let's see. I don't even see Norway on here. Well, here it is. Here it is.
Looking at, okay.
There's Norway.
So, oh my God. All right.
So that's guns per 100 people. So they're about 26, I'd say. And then gun-related deaths per 1,000 people. So so for those of you watching, if Tony or my picture are up on the top right, the U.S. is like way up here. It shows like a 12 gun-related deaths per 100,000 people. It shows 12. Now I don't know if that's a percentage or what it is. But then it also shows, like, on the bottom, it's guns per 100 people, and it shows over 100. So it's saying every American has a gun, which we don't know. We don't know. Like, some of the estimates are 250 to 350 million guns. More people, or more guns than people.
Yeah,
I've seen as high as 600 million. So who knows? Who knows? But it's saying that per 100,000 people, we have 12 deaths. Or is that 12%? It really doesn't say. Like, the data is excluded on definition.
Yeah.
So that bothers me. But then you look at all the countries they list. Tony, do you see any country on that list that has a higher population than us?
No. And it's not even remotely close.
Nope. Now, If you wanted to relate it to violent crimes, like it shows United Kingdom is like one of the best countries in the world with gun violence. They're also one of the worst countries in the world when it comes to violent crimes. More people get stabbed in the UK than anywhere else in the fucking
There
world.
you go. There you go. So that's interesting because like guns are so foreign of a concept there, but violence is still rampant. It's so weird.
We're stupid
Like,
fucking monkey people. We like.
well, there you go. Violence is it's a genetic trait. We are genetically designed to destroy each other. Like the line from Terminator, it's in your blood, it's in your nature to kill each other. It's
Yep.
true, though. We're going to find a way one way or the other. That's the unfortunate truth. So availability of firearms just makes that easier and more efficient. And God, that's the shits of it. That is the shits of it. So I'm glad we got to like break down some of this data because I really wanted to do that. And honestly, this is, again, we're just scratching the surface of the data here. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, yeah, we're talking about it in a light where the data can be misconstrued. But we can also talk about this in a light where population number compared to firearms owned by population compared to firearms not owned that are available to the population through legal means or not. Man, honestly, it could be worse. It could be a lot fucking worse. I know that sounds cold, and I know that sounds bad if you take it out of context, and it is bad. Like we have a problem. We absolutely have a big fucking problem in this country, but it could still be a lot damn worse. And are we going to get there? I sure fucking hope not. How do we not get there? That's the question for the next time we dive into this topic, is it not?
It definitely is, and before we exit on this for the night, this is really important. Looking, so for those listening, again, I got data pulled up, and I have a calendar pulled
I
up.
hope my nose is not ruining this because I keep trying to hit mute when I blow my nose. The people watching that can see my little bubble screen up on the top have been watching me blow my nose a bunch over the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I got a calendar by year, day by day, and it shows. So this is what I do at work. This is a little psychological profiling and thought process here. So what's the first color the human eye sees? Red.
Red. Bright red. Bright red.
Exactly.
Same reason you do not buy a Ferrari, because that is
Cops
the first thing that's going to catch a cop's eye.
Yep. So this is also why when I'm at work and I'm creating like a chart of who's doing right and who's doing wrong, I'll reward those doing right with a bright green and those doing wrong with a bright red, because I want them to know that they're doing something wrong. So that's what this chart definitely entails is, so number of people killed or wounded per day. Killed or
right
wounded.
off the top of the bat, right off the top. First thing I noticed when I first looked at this, Sundays in the summer.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. It is. That's kind of weird. The one thing I noticed, Tony, is when I look at the chart, it goes from 0 to 4 to 9, and then it goes to 18, then to 27, then to 36. So like it's kind of a weird scale. It's not
that is odd. Why? Yeah.
It doesn't make a ton of sense, but anyway.
No,
so let's
that
go through
really
here.
doesn't.
So 2013 total incidents, 253, 288 people killed with 961 wounded. Now, the fun part about this is you can mouse over the day. So January 1st, 2013, 4 people were wounded in McKessie Port, PA, 1 killed and 3 wounded in Hawthorne, California. And that gives you
this is specifically based off of quote unquote mass shooting numbers, you said 3 people, but 1 by a firearm.
Yes,
That's
and
still
apparently
the
they
data
count.
we're
They're
having.
counting wounded now, and I don't know if all of it counted wounding. Like, did it? It's weird. Like that would make sense if
how
you're
else do you
wounded.
get to 2,350 without just counting a scenario where somebody got wounded?
Yeah. Let's look at June 2nd, 2013. 4 wounded, 7 wounded, 7
Not
wounded.
that makes it better, folks. Sorry to trigger somebody there.
It doesn't, but June 2nd, 2013, bright red, nobody died. They all lived.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
4
bright red,
wounded,
number of
7
incidents,
wounded, 7
3.
wounded.
Indiana, Virginia, Georgia, 4, 7, 7. All wounds. Nobody dead. Then, yeah, 4th week of June. 5 incidents, 1 killed, Tennessee, 1 killed, 3 wounded, California, 1 killed, 8 wounded in Kansas City, Missouri, 4 wounded in New Orleans, and 1 killed in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Well, yeah, okay, that was a pretty shitty day.
So this is another example, like, and I'm highlighting the bright reds. 50 killed and 53 wounded in Orlando. Of course, that's the big shooting there.
Damn it. I'm going to do something shitty.
Oh, God.
You keep going. Go ahead. Keep going.
So, but like what I'm calling out here is that they're skewing the data to present a narrative that isn't necessarily true. I mean, it is, but it isn't. So if we're going to count every time somebody gets wounded by a firearm, whether it be to a suicide, an accident, like whatever the case may be, and now you want to add wounded people for whatever the incident may be, and you only want to include 1 shooting while others were wounded, I can fucking come up with some crazy numbers on anything I wanted to if you just let me run rampant with the data. Like I can make everything seem like a shit show, or I can make everything seem like a rainbow. You give me the data and I can manipulate it any way I want to.
Right. Yeah. That's just the problem. So, real quick before we get off the screen, like everybody watching on screen there just
I can
saw
pull it back
all
up.
the.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was just going to show you what looking at all the calendar dates there. I'm sorry, this is so off topic and stupid, but I had to do it. Sorry, this reminded me of this.
Oh my God.
Does anybody remember that?
I remember that fucking thing.
This is
Lights
the
Out.
Lights Out game by Tiger, where you had to
It's that big
buttons.
green box thing that was like the size of a Game Boy, but you had to like fucking hit the lights.
That was
and
gray.
match it up.
It was gray. You know what? I guarantee I could turn the camera around right now and go into the closet and find 2 of these fucking things. I was badass at that game.
Oh.
Sorry. Had to do that. I've been looking at that since you pulled it up. I'm like, that looks like the fucking Lights Out game. Anyway, so
it is.
You're 100% right. Data is so easily manipulated. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you say about data being manipulated, about death to wounded. It doesn't matter, because the hard anti-gun crowd is always going to be able to say people still died. And that's the cold hard truth. And that's the reason we still have an issue in the country with gun violence. People are still dying. Innocent people, not just people who are committing like gang violence, not people who are redneck pieces of shit shooting their cousins because they dated their other cousin. Like people who
I'm sure there's some of that. There's some of that going on out there. You know, Alabama lost 2 games this year. There's a lot of people dying down there.
You should have looked at that on the fucking map. But no, I digress. From September to December in any fucking year, Alabama, I guarantee, you find a loss on the Alabama schedule, that fucking number probably went up.
Yeah, it's a bad weekend for wives. Yeah.
people are still dying. Innocent people that don't need to be dying. So that's what I'm going to leave this topic on. Is it's still a problem, no matter how you want to downplay it. And I will help you downplay it because I do agree with you on a lot of stuff. But I do have to, as a fucking moderate, believe it or not, no matter who you are, if you're a lefty or a righty, I am a moderate. And I have to toe the line on both sides. People are still dying that shouldn't be dying.
This is one I'm gonna stand firm on it that it's a God-given right, and
it is.
The facts have been manipulated. They'll continue to be manipulated for a different type of agenda that we have yet to totally know. I don't want to get conspiratorial if I don't have to. We can speculate on where this will go, but at the end of the day, yeah, you're right. There's people dying out there, but also there's homeless people in fucking California that we haven't dealt with. There's fires. Well, I don't know.
Fuck,
I don't even want to go down the road with fires because I haven't researched that enough because that could be
no, you're right. There's a completely ignored society of homeless people and fucking homeless vets, and yeah, like you said, wildfires and flood victims that get ignored because it's an act of nature and not an act of man. But we get upset about the act of man. We ignore the act of nature.
Well, we get upset at the act of a few men. Now, when you look at the gun violence, 60% of it's suicide. A huge chunk of it.
There you go.
A huge chunk of it's accidental. Another chunk of it is unintentional. The intentional murder rate in this country is super fucking low. When you compare and that's a chart I should have had pulled up, is the intentional murder rate with a gun in this country compared to anywhere else in the fucking world is actually really fucking low compared to a lot of other countries, whether they have a big population, small population, wealthy or unwealthy. We're not as high as you would think we are when it comes to I'm going to take a gun and shoot you in the fucking face. That's not as high as people would think it is. That said, all of us have to pay the price for a couple of crazy fuckheads that want to go kill people. Fuck that. I'm not down with that. That means a crazy fuckhead that killed a bunch of people, they fucking won. You want them to win? Fuck that.
You're right, and that's very similar to a hypothetical I threw out there. But, God, I almost lost it. You said, God damn it! Now I did lose it. Fuck. What'd you just say?
The people that actually are trying to commit murders and compared to other countries and
okay, is there another country, population-wise, to availability of firearms that's as well educated as a citizenship on firearms than the United States? I doubt it. Yeah, there's so much availability and so much knowledge that the most population probably has a pretty good respect and understanding of firearms compared to other countries, like you said, accidental shootings. Right? Yeah. Am I wrong in that assumption? I could be. Please let me know if I am.
I think most people that own guns in this country, most people are responsible and know what the fuck they're doing and teach their family to not only don't fuck with it if you don't know what you're doing, but eventually, like I did with my son, I've taught my son, like right now he has a BB gun. He knows how to operate that damn thing. And when it's safe to use, where it's safe to use, when it's not safe to use. And he knows he can't touch a goddamn thing unless I'm around. And that's got one of those big-ass goddamn chamber locks on it, too. It's a BB gun, and I chamber locked it. Like, that's being responsible.
And then you said something else there. You said something else there at the end that made me forget the other thing that I wanted to say, but now I can't think of it. God damn it. Fucking whiskey, man.
You obviously weren't fired up as I was. So.
No, it's not even about that. Fuck Nancy.
No, but it's the other countries comparable to us on gun safety, accidental shootings, suicides, you start comparing all those, and then the people that are intentionally murdering other people with a gun.
I would say it's fair to assume that the United States suicide rate is as high as it is because we have such a lax availability to firearms. People aren't going to kill themselves as much unless it's easy to do. Nobody wants to die painfully. Most people do not want to die painfully, even if it's their choice to do so. If you have the choice to shoot yourself in the head or dive onto a pit of spikes, what are you going to do? You're probably going to shoot yourself. So obviously those numbers are skewed. All right. We need to stop.
You hit something. I just gotta give you a brain teaser here.
All right.
What if
right.
conspiracy time? Put on your tinfoil hat. Let's go down this road.
Good time to end. You open that up.
Go down this dark road with me for 1 second.
God damn. All right.
What if the left wants to take all the guns away, so people makes it harder for people to commit suicide? So now they have to be put on medication, drugs, hospitalized, so then they can feed the Medicare system and Medicaid system and the healthcare system full of a fuck ton of money to never really help anybody and to just imprison people and make them slaves to the system.
Well, let's just throw vaccinations into that fucking hypothetical.
Well, we can. Did you hear the CDC diagnosed 12 people in Omaha with tuberculosis? Yep. Look it up.
I did hear that.
Thanks, okay. Non-vaxxers. Thanks.
Yeah.
You fucking assholes. You're going to kill us all.
All right.
This is fun.
Oh, no. God damn it. Now you're bringing it full fucking circle. Listen, motherfucker. No. You shut up and listen. The way you just went off a minute ago about how it's your right to own this and do this and protect yourself and fucking your right is your fucking right. Like it or not, that's the same goddamn right a fucking dumbass anti-vaxxer has, right? Is it not?
It is.
It is. No, it is. End of story. Sorry, it sucks.
It is.
But it is.
They put everybody in danger, but I won't associate with them.
So does a motherfucking gun owner who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with it. Who's unhinged. There it is.
And I won't associate with them either.
There it is.
I won't associate with either of them. I have the right to do that. And they have the right to own their gun and not vaccinate their children. Like, I may not agree with it.
They do.
You could also pick a dumbass religion, and I don't have to agree with that.
Like Kwanzaa?
Yeah. Oh God.
All right.
I never officially posted the Kwanzaa video.
It's on Spotify.
Did I post it on Spotify? The whole thing?
Dude, I just listened to it today.
I edited a lot out of that one. Did I actually
post it? It's on Spotify. Yeah, it's on
maybe I just
Spotify.
Did audio only. I don't know.
Yeah. I was just
that shit got dark.
Shit that makes it
that shit got dark, dude.
So the folks that just watch on YouTube, I highly recommend you follow us on Spotify because or Anchor, because some of the stuff that you don't see on YouTube makes it into the final cut of the audio, and it gets really fucking twisted.
Yeah,
so.
I think you're right because here's how I used to edit these.
Hang on, time. What should I have for next? I have an option.
I don't even know what those are. What do you got?
Okay,
there?
So first off, I've got Green Spot single pot still Irish whiskey.
Nice,
this is fucking delicious. Oh my God,
sounds delicious.
Cannot recommend this. If you like Irish whiskey, pick you up a bottle of this. Here I've got, just tried it last night. Me and Phil did the Macallan Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, 12-year age Scotch.
I like Macallan's. I do.
You've had it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, quick story. Walking out of the house to meet Phil. I've got my computer bag and tripod in my left hand. I've got this box of Scotch in the other. Walk out of the house. Must have tipped the box down like that. Flap open, bottle out.
Oh.
Tink, 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 tink. Down about 9 concrete steps. Guess
Didn't
what?
break?
Didn't break. That's about. Oh my god, dude!
Bravo!
Bravo! My heart raced because that's a $65 to $80 bottle of
Yeah,
scotch.
that's not cheap shit.
I watched that thing slinky down the concrete, and as it was about on the last steps, my 4-year-old opens the door. Dad, what? And the wife's like, "Don't be mean to him. He just wants to tell you about." I'm like, "Oh my god, my scotch almost broke."
You don't understand, kid. That's a whole day's pay.
Fuck. Yeah. Oh my god, this is delicious. But this is delicious too. So just you pick one for me. I gotta have one more.
Let's go broken or damn near broken bottle. Like it's got chips in it, right?
Dude, the fucking
scarred.
The cork broke. I hadn't popped this, and he's like, "Did you sample it?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh shit! It must have broke when it fell."
Nice.
True story. True story. And this is the low end Macallan. Like this is as low end as it gets for Macallan.
Yeah, but that's the exact same bottle I bought. It's good stuff. I like it.
Oh my god, it is delicious.
I think I bought it with a gift set. I think I found it at the still. I think it came with like a couple of like little little glasses that you can put rocks in.
Well, yeah, no, that's the only way to buy your high-end whiskey because some of them, you're looking at about a 75 to 25% ratio. 75% of the high ends are going to be amazing. Yep. 25% are going to be just garbage.
They've got a cool name and
yeah, cool name, cool bottle.
They're clickbait liquor.
Yes, clickbait Scotch whiskey, like Lafrogue. All you taste is smoke, peat, awful, oaky, terrible, trash flavor, but it's still like $70 a bottle. It's trash.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance to sample them, do it. Like here behind me, I have 5 bottles, just the dinky guys, of Glenlivet. I love me some Glenlivet. It's delicious. And we got 5 to sample here on the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Check it out on YouTube. And we're going to do a taste test of it. But I know I like Glenlivet. But if you get a chance to sample it before you buy a big bottle, do it.
Did you guys do a taste test of this yet?
No. And we need to. Because
so there's 3 kinds of it right now. So this is the cheapest one. This is the Templeton Rye 4-year. It's kind of got a cool... Good. It's got a cool...
Oh my god, that's so fucking good.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
It's got a cool story to it. So it was originally distilled during the Prohibition in Iowa. Templeton is the town in Iowa, 362 population. And it goes back to the mafia way back in the day with Al Capone. And this was his choice of whiskey, supposedly. But now they have you can get a 4-year, you can get a 6-year, and now they just came out with a maple, and I haven't tried it yet, but there's a maple barrel blend. It's a 6-year aged maple barrel blend. And it looked
that'd be decent.
Yeah, so
that would be because I've tried Templeton.
I'm a
just
fan.
A regular.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Templeton Rye. It's really, really good whiskey. Whether you do straight or mixed.
Have this, right? The Crown.
Oh yeah, the Crown Rye's good. I like rye whiskeys. I like them straight. I like them mixed. I like them you can do anything you want with them. That's why I like the rye whiskey. You can do them just over the rocks, and it almost feels like you're on a Scotch feel on most of them. It kind of gives you that little acquired taste that you get with Scotch, but you also get that whiskey.
It's like an American Scotch.
Yeah, you get that whiskey, just that little. I don't know what to call it. It's almost like a sugary sweetness to it.
Yeah, sugar. Yeah, it's the sugary. It's the sweetness. Like you get with these Irish or Scottish, Scotches, it's you get that ginger minty sweetness. with American bourbon, like, because that's basically what American Scotch is bourbon. It's that sweetness. It's that rye type flavor, which like me and Phil have been fucking buying different bottles of shit left
I
and
saw
right.
you
Him
guys
more
got
so
like
than me.
15 fucking reviews out now. Jesus Christ.
Oh, fuck,
you've been pimping
dude.
them
And
bitches out.
We got so many more to go. It's ungodly. Like, he's been buying whiskey and scotch left and right just so we can do reviews, and I'm kind of glad, because I tried a lot of stuff, but man, I've tried so much more shit in the last couple months. Like, really expanded what I like and what I don't like. Very good thing to do. If you like your shit on the rocks and neat, that's the way you have to do it. You got to sample it. Like, commit to a bottle if you want, but sample it if you can.
Fair enough.
And so far, I haven't really found a bad bottle that I've bought. The one we just tried the other night was Whistle Pig, which is kind of an interesting one. We actually just dropped a video on that the other night. Check that one out. That's kind of got a interesting story. It's like they finish it in like the same way you would finish like a wine, but it's mostly Canadian, but it's done in Vermont, so it's not Canadian, but the recipe's kind of Canadian. It was kind of a cool story, but it was a pretty good one too, and they've got a few varieties as well. So if you like rye, that's kind of a good one to check out. What I'm trying to think of the one that, like, what's the one that Lynn likes? Jeremy likes the same damn one.
Is that the Macallan 12-year?
No, the rye whiskey.
That's Templeton. Me and Lynn are big Templeton fans.
Well, Jeremy has a bottle of rye in the freezer at the bar, and I can't remember what the fucking brand name is off the top of my head, but it's one of the more popular ones. Now it escapes me, because he likes his rye. And Crown.
You got. I'm just looking at your recent videos. You got Weiser's, Green Spot, Macallan, Whistle Pig, Redstone, Oban.
Dude, that Oban, holy shit! You like Scotch? Check out Oban. I'd never tried it. I had never tried it.
How much is that a bottle?
Phil showed me. The Little Bay is cheaper than the 14. The 14's probably in the mid range. The 14 is definitely better. The Little Bay was really fucking good, but that 14, that's some of the best Scotch I've ever had in my life, dude. Holy shit! Actually. Well, until I had this, I'm not going to lie, this is probably the best fucking Scotch I've ever tasted. And that's the low-end Macallan. I can't wait to find another bottle of that. I'm just going to go through the line. It's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but that's delicious.
Got it pulled up on the screen here, folks. If you like wrestling and you like whiskey, check out the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah, boy.
Several new videos. Look at that. You got, man, you've been busy last 3 days, 5 videos, 6 videos, or 6 or 5 videos uploaded in the last 6 days. Nice. Been hitting hard.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I do have a few fun little notes of wrestling that we can dive into before we call this quits.
Oh fuck, this is always terrible on my side.
I know. And you know what's fun about this for me is the fact that, like, I know more about this than you do going into, so it's not like you educating me. I get to educate you a little bit. Holy shit.
Hey,
boy.
real quick before you do that, nice swag, bro. Nice swag. I like your shirt.
Yeah, fucking right.
Those that don't know, ghostly research and investigations of paranormal. Got a shirt on. I got my Christmas present. Figure it out.
Is that litter, Kenny?
Yeah, you fucking right. It is.
All right.
Figure it out.
I haven't sat down and watched that yet. That's one I've been meaning to. Because everybody's recommended it to me, and it looks fucking hilarious, and it's one of those dumbass shows that I'm like, oh, it looks dumb, but I bet I'll like it.
It's fast wit, like fast wit. So sometimes, like,
kind of like MASH.
No, it's faster than that, and it's in a foreign tongue. Like, it's still in English, but it's like It's got a deep accent, so sometimes it's hard to understand. So even me, I can pick up quick wit with most people, but even some of those episodes, I had to go back and watch again. But when you watch them that second time,
Watch a
you're like,
few of them.
oh my God, like some of the jokes are just genius. Like, so I do recommend it. Some episodes kind of suck, but some of them
I'll
are
check that
fucking
out.
brilliant. Some are brilliant. I love it.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people recommend it to me, so I do want to check that out. All right, so on the wrestling note,
Who's that guy?
over the weekend.
What the fuck is that?
That is what you would call Sammy Callahan.
Sally?
Right,
I'll call him Sally.
That's probably accurate. All right. So
is he fighting a chick?
Yes.
Why is he fighting a chick?
Okay.
What the fuck? Well, this is why people shoot each other. You know this, right? Full circle, bringing it back. No.
Bringing it back. All right. So
what
those
the fuck
of you
is that?
Dude, you remember TNA, right? You watched TNA a little bit.
I did a little TNA. I do remember Impact.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Because when nobody watched WWE, Impact TNA was the only thing.
Oh, it's because Kurt Angle was there.
Yeah, Kurt Angle was there. Sting was there. Some Booker T, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash. Some of the old guys were there. And that's how you were introduced to the likes of like AJ Styles, right? You know, Impact, right. TNA, back in the day. Well, Impact is still a thing. TNA is not, but Impact is. It's just Impact Wrestling nowadays. It's pretty low budget. This is the current product. Over the weekend-ish, this has been going on for like 6 months. Tessa Blanchard is, those of you who remember Ric Flair, the Horseman, and Tully Blanchard. This is his daughter, Tessa Blanchard. She has been feuding with this Sammy Callahan for several months. She had a match with him, like a hardcore match, months ago. She lost. She worked her way back up, and they gave her a title shot against Sammy Callahan, who somehow managed to win the world title in Impact. The guy's basically a warthog. All right? That's all you need to know. So you can see the writing on the wall. They actually work well together. The story's decent, for a guy versus a chick. You got to suspend disbelief here because he's a warthog. She's not that big a gal. She's fairly tiny. They're still, it's professional wrestling. You're suspending disbelief.
So,
but what happens?
You still haven't explained why the chick and the guy are fighting. Like, I don't understand.
He is a piece of shit. And he decided to have him and his cronies.
Oh, so is this like a Me Too match? Is this a Me Too match? Oh, fuck! I don't care. Shut this off.
So basically, they jumped her at a promo. That's how it all started, right? Well, she fights back. Barely lost to him in the first time. She works her way up the ranks, and she manages to get this match for the world title. She hits him with her finisher here. The whatever fucking DDT that is. There you go. Pins him 1, 2, 3. There you have it, folks.
I bet the weight of her body really drove him into the ground really hard.
She just did a flipping Canadian Destroyer, those of you who couldn't see it, which is the most over-fucking used dumbass move in history of wrestling today. But there you got it. A woman wins, I'm using air quotes, a major wrestling world title for the first time ever over a man. That's why this is newsworthy. So, oh boy, dude, we're just starting here. So, the same time this happens.
Hold on. Was this like, okay? So I'm not familiar with Impact and TNA and who they have.
Nobody is.
Like, was that current champion of on the male side? Was he the best of the best, or was he the shittiest male champion they've ever had? So they're like, now's the time.
If you ask Jim Cornette, yes, that was the biggest piece of shit in the world. but I digress. No,
But he was still
he's
twice her size. He was still twice her size.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's one of those guys that comes from the death match arena type shit matches.
Allegations of racism and oh my god, the fucking woke left is gonna eat her alive too. Jesus.
Yeah. So that's where we're going with this. On the fucking eve of this,
I can't believe you beat up a man. That's gonna be the next thing. Like
everybody knew she was gonna go in and win this match. It makes some headlines. Everybody knew she was gonna win.
What racism thing she do? She like stand up and be like, "Fuck you, whitey." Like,
nope. She apparently in like 2017 got into an altercation with a black gal in Japan and spit in her face and called her the N-word.
Supposedly, were there witnesses to this, or is this a?
Those are the allegations.
Is this a? Oh my God! Is this Elizabeth Warren calling Bernie Sanders out on? You said that I can't be president because I'm a woman type thing. That supposedly 4 people witnessed it that were supposedly there, but nobody knows who those 4 people are.
Apparently, this has some legs. This started because on like a day or so before that match, her tweet was, "Hey women, try supporting one another. Cool things happen." And oh boy, did the women of wrestling jump her ass. Chelsea Green, you've consistently put down, bullied, and belittled countless female co-workers, including me. Is that support? Oh, Allison Kay, remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N-word in Japan? Was that you supporting women? The audacity of this tweet. Priscilla Kelly, who's been infamous for taking a tampon out of her vagina and shoving it in an opponent's mouth in a bar fight. That's not a joke. That really happened in the middle of a garbage match.
It's still funny.
Yep.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. Priscilla Kelly, remember publicly putting me down on Twitter last year for something that didn't involve you whatsoever, then continuing to drag my name to other people for it? You should probably delete this tweet. Casey Michael, sure, hon. She bullied Renee Michelle at an indie show and they had a tussle of some sort. I figured people involved it would know more details. Yeah, so this goes on and on and on. And people make fun of it. And like, she just got drugged through the fucking mud. And this is on the eve of her winning the world title of Impact Wrestling. Go figure. It sits silent for 2 years and then gets brought out. But I digress. But there's more to this. So.
I fucking hate Twitter.
Oh, fuck, dude.
I hate Twitter.
Oh, my God, reason. Dude. Social media. This is why we just had an episode on social media.
Social media sucks.
So
check it out, folks. It's up on the right ticker. Social media sucks.
Episode,
go back and check that one out.
Episode 32. It's a good one. After the fact, she won it. So I'm listening to the Jim Cornette Experience day or so ago. I'm sitting in line at work. I'm in the feed truck. I'm listening to the podcast. And they start talking about it. And they're answering viewer questions. And one says, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about this with Tessa Blanchard? Then the next question was, what do you think about the supposed Tessa Blanchard giving a fan audio poop tape?
What, like an AM? What do they call that? The AMSW or AMSR? What the hell is that new term? The audio stimulation thing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a name for this. Have you been watching?
Of course, there is. No.
Hint to next week's episode. We're going to go into the Pornhub top 10s.
Yes.
So,
Jesus. Of course, there is.
It's audio stimulation. Whatever. That's what I was getting at. But is that what this is? It's an audio version of her taking a shit.
So. Apparently, some of these indie gals, like independent wrestlers, they barely scrape by in
doing indie sound porn.
Well, indie wrestlers is independent, so they have to make ends meet however they can. So some of them, like the women specifically will do Patreon pages where they do exclusive like photo sets and stuff where they can interact with fans and get paid for it. Supposedly, she got paid on Patreon to take a shit on tape and talk dirty while she did it. So as I'm listening to Jim Cornette the other day, they fucking played most of the tape.
Oh my god!
The actual tape.
Is it out there? Like, can you look this up?
Yes, you can. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it on? Is it on Pornhub? I assume it's on Pornhub. Like they're like the YouTube of Raunch now. Like, oh my god, what's her name again?
Well, Tessa Blanchard.
Tessa Blanchard. I'll just look her up on Pornhub, see what they got.
Oh god. So, yeah, they played probably 50 to 75% of the fucking tape. And they actually had to run it by their lawyer before they're like, can we fucking play this?
Oh my god, yeah. Like, it auto fills it in.
Oh god.
Let's see.
Let me sum it up for you. Because I listened to them.
Like, this is the weird part about Pornhub is like, it's like they don't just have porn, they like try to do like sexy videos. So like there's like point of view like ring matches of like her practicing and weird shit.
Oh,
like,
POV, yeah, baby.
Yeah, but it's not real porn. And then I'm sure there's some deep fakes on here. I don't see it though. It was her taking a shit though?
Well, it's not a video, it was an audio. And it's you hear her taking a shit, and literally it's just her saying stuff like, oh yeah, you like it when I drop a deuce. Oh yeah, you like it when my fart box cuts off a turd. Oh, I bet you'd like me to shit in a bag so you could jerk your dick off with it. Like, that's an actual quote. It's fucking raunchy, disgusting, awful commentary. And I don't know if it's her or not, but I find it so fucking incredible that on the eve of a woman winning a major-ish world title in wrestling over a man, other women come out and go, yeah, that bitch is racist, and yeah, here's an audio tape of her shitting for a fan.
Oh wow.
And talking dirty. Like so like this thing is just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. It's just gotten worse and worse and fucking worse.
So, and here's the worst part of it is I'm trying to find the audio, and YouTube is swarmed now with the dumbass breakdowns of everybody like us trying to talk about it. So
yeah, and that's pretty much we're kind of late to the party.
We're a week behind. We're a week behind. This is 5 days ago. God damn it! Now it's just like
actually
swamped.
We would have been with our normal recording time. We would have been right on point. But here's another one. This was kind of entertaining for me. The Miz says this little thing on Twitter.
Now, I actually remember the Miz.
Okay. Yeah, former reality star, current WWE star, The Miz, movie star. You know, he's a big deal. Says, "Oh, sorry, I didn't change the culture." As a Twitter tweet, slight dig at CM Punk. CM Punk just returned to WWE television on WWE Backstage a month or so ago. That's what he said when he came back. CM Punk responds,
"Wow, go suck a
this is real
money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you fucking dork."
Yeah, that's how CM Punk responds to The Miz on Twitter. Go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you fucking dork. Obviously
that's pretty hardcore
at WWE as a whole for doing all the Saudi Arabia shows.
That's pretty hardcore. I like it. I just got a little respect for CM Punk all of a sudden after that one.
Dude, that's the only reason like wrestling fans have been clamoring for his return, because If you've never seen the pipe bomb promo, watch that. YouTube the pipe bomb promo sometime and watch that.
The pipe bomb promo. Okay.
When CM Punk was in his like biggest, most infamous run in WWE, he got done with a match with John Cena. He went and sat down at the top of the ramp. Now, some people speculate that this was staged and set up. And
what,
part
in
of
WWE,
it probably was.
Something might have been staged or set up? What?
Right. But he sat at the top of the stage and cut a pretty scathing promo on all the higher-ups, Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, all of them. And eventually his mic got cut. Like, he started saying shit that they didn't want him to say. And it eventually led to him getting released.
Was he pushing it? Was he pushing it to the limit?
Oh, he did. Yes. Yes, he did.
We haven't got that in a couple weeks. I had to throw it in.
Yep, got to get that in. Got to get that in. But he did. So that's why wrestling fans have a soft spot for CM Punk, and he's actually a really fucking great wrestler. But so I'm actually like, now that he's back on WWE TV, and I'm about 8 days away from going to Houston to the Royal Rumble, there's a part of me that's holding out a slight bit of hope that the motherfucker returns to the wrestling ring at the Royal Rumble. I hope. Probably not going to happen, but I'm hoping.
You just want to have some fun while you're down in Texas. I get it.
Well, yeah. I'd love to see something fucking historic, but I digress. But last thing wrestling related, even historic, if you will. Your favorite promotion in the world, AEW.
Did they go out of business already?
No, actually, believe it or not, they've signed a multi-year extension deal. Gonna get into the green spot now.
Oh my God, why? It was terrible.
So
I was reading an article on Facebook because I don't know, I can't remember how deep we went into it on the last podcast and what we actually. I don't remember what I kept in there after editing, but like the female division was terrible.
It's shit. It's absolute dog shit.
Gross. It was terrible.
And I'm not knocking the wrestlers that are in it, because some of them I think do have a lot of potential, but the booking is terrible and the matches are shit.
Just the whole promotion right now is just like there's no identity. They're trying to find themselves. And I get it. It's a young promotion, whatever. Like, I'm not even a big wrestling fan anymore, but I was just like, that was just weird. It was not fun. It was not entertaining. It's not something I would continue to watch. Like, it just turned me off from WWE and AEW, to be honest.
Well, there you go. Like, that's why I wanted you to see it, because like, if you're somebody who hasn't watched wrestling in years and you came across this and watched this,
I was like, no.
Would you want to tune in next week? There you go.
Fuck no. I got Conor McGregor coming. I got Conor McGregor coming back Saturday. Why the fuck would I want to watch that shit?
There you go. So I'm going to take that portion of our show last week and put that on the other channel, because people need to see that. Like, they don't want to hear that, but it's true.
It's the truth. It is. It's the truth. It's the God's honest truth that, like, if you want to poll, like, there's a lot of people like me out there that used to watch it, now have a family, and I've tried to get my son to watch it. He doesn't get interested in it. Like, it doesn't interest me, and it doesn't interest an 11-year-old boy. So what's your audience now? Like, who are you? Like, how do you grow your audience if you can't get an 11-year-old random kid that likes violence? My son loves violence. He loves to, like, we physically wrestle in the living room and roll each other over, and we do the 3-count pins. But he never watches WWE. He doesn't want to, because it's not interesting.
Well, there you have it. This actually brings me back to that point. You're a guy who used to watch it back in the day when it was popular. Watched a little bit of
I loved
TNA
it.
here and there.
I was religious with it. I was Thursday Night Thunder. I was Monday Night Nitro. And then when it switched, I did watch the new brand. I did follow for a couple of years. I fell off. I didn't care anymore.
You did longer than some people did. There you go.
I did.
Because once the competition ended, so too did the creativity.
Well, and then when even when TNA and ECW and some of the other stuff was going on, I watched a lot of those in hopes I would get something different, because I don't like Vince McMahon's product. I never have.
No, there you go. And I am always 100%. That's what I grew up on. I grew up on Vince's New York fucking WWF campy cartoony product of the early 90s, the Hulk Hogan era.
Don't get me wrong, it's not all bad. I don't want to totally shit on it, but because there's some really good things that have come out of there. I've loved when Nitro sucked, I would switch over to Raw. I would flip back.
There was an alternative.
Don't get me
worth
wrong.
Watching.
If I was oh God, it's a fucking tag match on Nitro tonight, I'm gonna go see what's on Raw and be like, oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin's out there. All right, cool. I would do that. But now I watch AEW and it's fucking tag match after tag match, and then I go over to fucking you try to. I can't pick up the storylines in WWE at all right now. It's so complex. It's just what was good about soap operas?
Storyline.
It is all storyline, but you know what was good about soap operas? My mom used to watch soap operas when I was a kid, and I could jump in, and I was able to follow. I knew what happened 4 weeks ago, and they're still talking about what happened 4 weeks ago. No, I'm not saying I want things to be that lame, but I can't follow the stories in WWE because it flips so quick. It's so crazy.
It is, and
they don't stay consistent with the character lines anymore. You can be a good guy one week, a bad guy next week, and then a good guy again.
Well, at least WWE's trying to, once they turn somebody face or heel, they try to stick to it. AEW, they don't give a fuck if you're a good guy or a bad guy.
Garbage.
People were getting cheered and booed in the same match, and nobody knows who's good or bad, and they don't know who they should cheer and boo, and it's a fucking disaster. So let me put as a guy, again, you saw Kurt Angle and Sting and these guys from the old product going back to TNA and wrestling in TNA, so you tried to watch that, and then eventually you fell off. So if an upstart promotion like AEW pops up out of the woodwork, and I give you the homework of, hey, watch AEW, so you do it. Let me put two hypotheticals out there for you. You're Cody Rhodes, son of Dusty Rhodes, executive VP, one of the several of AEW. The trademark for the name Bash at the Beach runs out. WWE no longer has that trademark. You buy it. You acquire that trademark. Something that WCW, NWA, Dusty Rhodes, your father, was integral in making a mainstream event. Bash at the Beach. You know Bash at the Beach, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember Bash at the Beach.
You acquire that. You acquire the trademark to Bash at the Beach. Would you either A, use that name as a pay-per-view in your upstart promotion to try to drag old fans back in to purchasing your event, or would you just use it as a tagline on a throwaway episode of your free weekly TBS television show?
There's risk in the throwaway TV show. I tell you what I would do with it. I think they're missing opportunities here. So you mentioned there's other promotions out there. There's like
There
what
are now, yes.
what's the guy from Smashing Pumpkins? Why can't I think of his name? I always forget
Billy
somebody's
Corgan,
name. Billy Corgan owns
NWA.
NWA.
Yep.
Why aren't you working with him? Like, why aren't you teaming up with him and trying to bring some skilled talent together and put on a cross promotional? Like, WWE is never going to work for you or work with you, do anything with you until you become a juggernaut.
WWE is only going to cross promote with themselves.
Right.
And that's why I said when AEW started, I said, why are they trying to build something from the ground up? They could easily invest or acquire an NWA or a TNA or a Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
One of the already existing companies. They can invest in that.
Pull the talent together. They're limited on talent. It's very obvious. They're limited on talent. They're limited on writers. They're limited on sound producers because the fucking audio was terrible.
But
like why wouldn't you do that? Like why wouldn't you just be like, hey, Billy Corgan, or like just send him a message on Twitter. Just send him a message on Twitter. Be like, hey, dude, like, what's up?
Well, okay, two things. I'm glad you said that because, Cody did acquire the rights to Bash at the Beach, and this week's program on Dynamite was
so real quick.
Dynamite
that was
Bash at the Beach.
That was not WCW's big headliner though. Like that was kind of one of their shit throwaway pay-per-views. It wasn't a big
bigger ones.
It wasn't that big. I never cared about.
In my opinion, as someone who did not watch a lot of WCW, I specifically remember Starrcade, Halloween Havoc, Bash at the Beach,
Bash
Fall
at the Beach
Brawl.
Was garbage.
Yeah, you're probably right. But it was one of their staple names. And a former fan channel surfing on a Sunday or a Saturday, you see that, you're like, motherfucker, I remember Bash at the Beach. Would that not get more pay-per-view buys? Then it would be worth to just use it as a throwaway tagline for your weekly show that people are already watching. Yeah. I think it's a missed opportunity. That's my opinion.
And you know what else caught me when I was a kid? I just started thinking about this, but I remember things that kept me pulled into it. Was like WCW did a really good job on Sundays. Like, so they had Thursday night and then they had a Monday night where they're big events each week. And it was like religiously watching, but then on like Sunday mornings, cause you think kids have Saturday morning cartoons. They're not watching shit, but those.
No.
But then Sunday,
to be fair though. Okay.
So hold on. Let me finish.
That's a good point. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yep. Like they used to have like an hour-long like recap of the week and then additional interviews on TNT.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you could get like a recap of the week in case you missed it, and then then you would get additional info though, and it would like kind of give you a preview to next week. That if you didn't watch that, you didn't know what was coming up on Wednesday or on Monday and Thursday, and you did, and it gave you a little bit of extra drama. In today's world, like I don't know what kind of promotions they're doing on YouTube or pushing. I guess there's not much of that going on right now because it's all.
Oh yes, there is.
Not on my news feed. Like my news feed is all Fox, MSNBC, and CNN. So that's all I ever see. Every video leads me to that. So
for me on Saturday morning, it was WCW was different. It was probably it was a lot better. On weekends for me, I would have to randomly catch WWF Superstars or WWF Livewire, which is the thing.
Yeah, I remember Livewire.
Yep, when you had like JR in the fucking supposed live studio recapping the shit on like Monday Night Raw. But yeah, it was a different time. but that was still studio based.
Those kept me hooked,
promotion.
though. Like that kept you reeled in. Like
exactly.
it was
If you
something
missed
else
the actual
to feed.
show, you
it was
got
something
the
else
bullet
to
points.
feed the hunger of wanting more of that. Like, what's going on? Like, because you get bored with it after 3 days of something. If you don't hear any more news, you're like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like that's the world.
But then
now we're in the world where if I don't hear anything in 48 hours, I'm done. I don't care. Like nobody cared about Iran issue with Trump after 48 hours. They're like, oh, and then the plane crash and like, oh, they did it. Oh, okay, well, whatever. It was like 2 days ago.
There you go, though.
That's the world we're in.
In the late 90s with professional wrestling, we had a severe culture shift because we went from Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Nitro being your staple show. Watch that. You watch one or you watch the other. You get caught up on Saturdays if you miss the other one. To both promotions having a Monday show and a Thursday show that you had to watch live as it happened to stay caught up with each promotion. It ended the studio aspect of it, and then WWE added Monday Night Raw, they had SmackDown, they had fucking Sunday Night Heat became a thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember Sunday.
Oh, God. There was so much between two promotions. There was so much fucking wrestling to watch. It's like it is now. If you want to be as absorbed in the product as you can be, you had to watch fucking everything. And ECW on Friday nights.
It got oversaturated. You're right. It did.
Your week was full.
You had no time to watch football, baseball, basketball, no other sport. You were 100% committed at that point.
Yeah, and there you have it. And that's, again, I'm going to bring it all back now. AEW just extended their contract with TBS, and they are going to be adding a second show.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
How can they afford it? I don't know.
Tony Khan.
You got to make money. You got to make money back.
He's got plenty of fucking money to waste. Tony Khan. So I don't think that they have been doing well enough to justify a second show. They have a second show. They have a second show already on YouTube called AEW Dark. It films before or after.
Oh my God, of course it's called Dark. Everything they try to do on there is fucking dark.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I'm a skeleton guy or I'm a scary guy. Like, oh my fucking God.
It's a play on the concept of the dark match. Like before the actual
my head
live
with the microphone.
Starts,
I just like
the old adage is the dark match. Before the live event starts, you have a couple dark matches. So they called it AEW Dark, and they showcase it on YouTube the night before the live episode airs on TBS. So they're probably just going to make that a second show. But the conspiracy theory is they're going to buy like Ring of Honor or Impact Wrestling, and they're going to try to make that, the wrestling conspiracy theory, and try to make that into a second show or second brand so they can compete with WWE and their 8 brands of wrestling.
I'm glad my conspiracy theories talk about world domination.
No, there's more important shit like professional wrestling to talk about. Get it right. So, all right, So, anyway, we're a week fucking out, and me and Phil are going to Houston to watch professional wrestling live and in person.
Hell yeah, dude. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be goddamn amazing. I couldn't be fucking more excited about this. And I'm going to send you my fucking login info. If you want to watch the fucking Royal Rumble live on the WWE Network,
I might have
watch
to do
that shit.
You're
going to have to fucking do that. So I'll tell you what, man.
You got this app on your phone, right?
I got it on my phone, my Fire Stick, my Roku.
No, I meant like to do the podcast, right?
Oh, Zoom? I can get it on there, yeah.
We should try to set up something like when you guys are walking in or something like that. I can at least record something for you so you guys can throw it on your podcast. We can do a little recording segment, and
we're not just going to the Rumble. We're actually because we're leaving on Saturday morning. Yeah, we're leaving on Saturday morning to go to Houston. It's about a 2.5-hour flight. We'll get to Houston about 3 o'clock. We'll check into our hotel, and then at like 6 o'clock at the Toyota Center, which is not quite 2 miles away from our hotel, is the WWE-based NXT versus NXT UK show.
Oh, nice.
On Saturday. So we're getting 2 fucking nights, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And the fucking NXT versus NXT UK event is going to blow the Royal Rumble out of the goddamn water.
Bet.
Dude, I get it. Like, you haven't watched like the main product.
I've heard NXT's better.
Oh my god. Like, take everything that's good about AEW from a wrestling standpoint, and you're not just grabbing these shitheads from the fucking independent leagues and throwing them on a main stage. You're taking independent guys and you're putting them into a feeder system, the minor leagues, and you're building them up and you're training them and you're making them understand how to work a match, how to look at a camera, how to talk on the mic. You're building them up into fucking monsters before you send them off to Raw or SmackDown. And that's what NXT has been. And it's kind of become its own monster. Like, they are fucking on fire. And the shit that they've been doing in the UK, that product's been fucking awesome. Shawn Michaels has kind of been the headline guy directing traffic in the UK for that. So, you know, Triple H on America and Shawn Michaels doing this here. Like, they know what they're doing. These motherfuckers know how to sell a product.
Right.
And they are doing a head-to-head show Saturday night. And I bought tickets for that because I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm not missing that. When are we ever going to be in fucking Houston again to watch the Royal Rumble and have an event on Saturday night? Gotta get tickets to that. Fucking right. So it's looking to be even better, but Royal Rumble's always been one of my favorite shows. So, like, this is going to be an amazing weekend altogether.
Well, hell yeah, man.
And I might even get lucky with Phil.
Aww. Phil would enjoy that, I'm sure. No. I think that about wraps it up, man.
Jesus, it has to. It's been like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's been quite some time.
Yep.
Final thoughts. Jesus. Like, I know we only covered really 3 topics. We talked college football, we talked gun control, and then surprisingly jumped into the pro wrestling. That was kind of unscripted. So you guys got a little surprise there. Any final
we might
thoughts?
Have to cut this into fucking 2 parts. Jesus.
Oh fuck, I don't know. Any final thoughts or where'd we land? Where'd we land with gun control?
Okay, final thoughts. Well, college football, not much to say. We'll hit you in fucking spring with our way too early top 25.
I agree.
Gun control, there's so much more to talk about. There's a lot of angles to look at, a lot of vantage points to take. Data's easily manipulated. People don't need to die, though, and really that's the main thing you want to focus on the end of the day. So we will keep diving into that over and over and over until we solve it here on this show. And then wrestling,
because that's where it will be solved, is on the Dog and Chicken Show. We're gonna fix this shit.
Goddamn right, here on this show. After I've drank a half a bottle of whiskey. So, but yeah, and then definitely tune back next week because we're gonna have to record a show before me and Phil head off to Houston.
Yeah. I'd agree with you on several points. However, I don't think it sounds dark. I don't think anybody's rights. I don't think anybody's rights or their lives supersede my rights or my life. I think we each individually are sovereign to some of those things, especially on the Second Amendment. So, as much as I don't want people to die, I don't. Like, don't get me wrong. And there's strategies that happen. All for trying to find a way to fix that. But telling everybody to not defend themselves is not the right way to go about it, in my opinion.
Some people don't want to.
Well, but they want me to, and they want the cops to, and they want everybody else to. So one hand, shit in the other. Okay, so figure it out, folks. Yeah, excited to see what comes out of your wrestling adventure. Excited for you. I know you're pretty pumped about that one. I'm excited for an exciting weekend in MMA. I got Conor McGregor against Cowboy Cerrone this weekend. I'm pumped for that one. I'll be pretty excited about that. We'll figure out day to record and get next week's episode up, but then before you know it, Tony, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be hitting February. We're going to be hitting our new challenge.
Yep. We gotta get the details on that figured out. Phil's going to have a lot of fun with this because he's already told me he's just going to basically taunt us the whole fucking time. So, yep, here we go.
Sounds fun. So
yeah.
I am planning on, unfortunately, due to some unfortunate things that happened, I'll be around the Lincoln area around February 1st. So sometime that weekend, we might be able to pop in and try to connect, do a quick episode together live, do some weigh-ins and talk some trash and get a quick little episode put together before I drive back up north. And figure all that shit out by then. So more to come on that next week.
All right, perfect.
Next week, do you want to tell them what we're going to talk about?
Jesus, next week?
I invited my brother for a special topic.
Yeah. Well, we were actually going to talk about it this week, but I mean, the fucking gun control thing and the end of college football kind of ruined that. And we're talking about porn, bitch. Here we go.
Porn, bitch. So anybody who watched the old Chicken Soodle Noop episodes, me and Lynn broke down the rankings of the prior year. So of course we're in 2020. We want to know what was great about porn last year. So
weird. I just want to talk about fucking porn. And I want Phil to watch tonight's episode so he can just goddamn pick apart all the little bullshit, and then we can jump back into the gun debate on another episode.
Yeah. I in a way I kind of wish Phil was on this one for the gun debate, but then again,
we needed to do one without Phil first.
Right. I think I have a feeling me and Phil agree too much on the gun thing. Like
you do. That's why I needed to be on the other side of it for this.
And you did a fair job, like Tony and everybody give Tony a quick little round of applause, because I think Tony's more on the side of not banning. Like I think
Tony, I'm not.
You're more obedient,
though. I don't want to give my guns up.
You're more obedient when it comes to a law gets passed. You're just going to follow the law.
That's fair. But
I will protest.
Somebody who is going to at least echo the fucking talking points that the other side wants to put forth. And
right. If what's happening in Virginia was happening where I live, I would be one of the protesters.
Yeah. Yep.
I would be putting in time off from work and saying, fuck no, this is my constitutional right. I have to fight for this. Like, I'd be out there on the streets marching, and I'd be like, no, I'm bringing my goddamn gun to this goddamn rally because I fucking can. Like, no. That's probably the subtle difference. It doesn't seem that far apart in apples to apples, because there's people out there that are just like, oh my God, a gun and bullets, and it makes a loud noise. Yeah, it's like,
man,
I fucking hate people sometimes.
Gun debate. Finally diving into it. All right.
Well, we kicked it off. Did we kick the can down the road? Did we solve anything with it tonight?
No.
I think we educated some folks on what's going on, if anything.
Yeah, that's all right. Fine, let's go with that.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
I don't know what we accomplished. All right, that's all I got.
Yes.
All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate you. Love you. Bye. As always, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Later.